Welcome everybody to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today, and this week sees the battle between the red pill and the blue pill yet again in Matrix Resurrections, hitting store shelves along with the long-awaited comedy sequel coming to America, the romantic drama A Journal for Jordan, everyone's favorite cowboy rancher drama series Yellowstone Season 4 is dropping, and Synapse Films, yes, good old Synapse, is releasing a limited 4K edition of the Dario Argento classic Phenomena, plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. All right, everybody, we are in at Walmart, and look, oh, the new release love is back, baby. Yes. Okay, we had 1 week where we only got the Paw Patrol goodness, but that was last week. This week, they're supplying all the goods yet again. Thank the Lord, baby. It helps to pray to the physical media gods every once in a while. They do answer your prayers in a big bad way. And this week, they definitely are delivering. Whew. The praying worked. Who'da thunk it, baby? But how about we dive into the physical media love, shall we, with Matrix Resurrections. The 4K Blu-ray digital for $29.96, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.96, the DVD digital for $19.96, and a only at Walmart exclusive DVD digital The Matrix 4-film Deja Vu collection for $29.96, which honestly on DVD for all 4 films, that's not a bad price. I mean, just for the DVD of the first film is $19.96, so for $10 more, you're getting the other 3 films and exclusive art as well. And that's not bad, all things considered, man. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this is what The Matrix does to you, folks. Seriously, look at that, man. I mean, seriously. On one hand, you have a very young, youthful Keanu, and on the other hand, oh, he's definitely had some mileage to him. Damn, man, if this is what The Matrix does to you, I'm unplugging my ass really fucking quick. Holy shit, man. Wow. Return to the source. Indeed. Not bad, actually. I didn't really think we were getting a Walmart exclusive this week, but that is really cool, man. And I gotta give some love overall to the fact that every edition has different artwork to it. I've always told you guys, as a physical media lover, as a fan of different artwork, I always love the fact that every edition has something new as far as artwork is considered. And it's just a cool thing for collectors. Whether you're into the DVD or just the Blu-ray or the 4K, you have your choice of very unique artwork. And I've always really appreciated that, man. I wish everyone would do that, but, you know, everyone's not The Matrix. Well, I only wish. Be a hell of a lot cooler as a physical media lover, but hey, I'll take what I can get, man. But that is pretty cool, all things considered, man. Not half bad at all. And I suppose we have to talk about The Matrix Resurrections, don't we? I suppose we do. Look, I watched this on HBO Max with Bob. We sat down in my apartment and watched it. Now, here's the thing about it, right? I've watched all the Matrix movies. I watched the Animatrix. I've played the Matrix video game. I used to be a big, bad fan of the Matrix series. And after a while, it kind of came and went, and I sort of grew out of the Matrix love, I would say. And when I heard they were making another Matrix movie, I was like, why? Didn't they wrap that shit up already? I was like, what was the point? But then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, God damn, the trailer looks really cool. And I'm like, God damn it, they're gonna suck me in, aren't they? And yes, I definitely had to watch it. Man, this movie disappointed me like a motherfucker. I'm not lying. Shit, dude. I mean, I didn't have the highest expectations for it anyways, but this movie really let me down hard, man. It really did. And the problem with the movie is that it's just redoing everything that the other Matrix films have done, but not really clever or interesting or even original. Whole action sequences are taken from the first film and put in this film. Literally stereotypes of characters from the other films are just plopped into this, just with different names. And even the times where you feel it could have been original, they just didn't really do anything clever or interesting with it. I mean, it's cool to see Keanu back, it's cool to see Carrie-Anne Moss back, but I mean, I loved Carrie-Anne Moss in this film. I thought she was actually really trying really hard, and I actually really like her in the movie. Keanu, man, did Keanu just forget how to act all of a sudden in this movie? Like, he's really a wet noodle in this flick in a big bad way, man. And I was like, fuck, damn, dude, like, you are really not feeling this movie. And it really felt like that in a big bad way. I mean, not only that, but they couldn't even get Lawrence Fishburne back for this goddamn thing. They replaced him with an actor that doesn't have half of the charisma that he does. An Agent Smith wannabe that really felt like a Windows 95 version of Hugo Weaving, which is really fucking sad, man. And it's trying to be meta and trying to do something cool with that. Oh, well, look, we're meta. We know what we're making, and we're sort of hip to the idea that we're making a reboot / sequel, and we know that we're doing that, and we're referential, and by doing that, we can be really cool, right? And we can sort of almost ape off of the Matrix by saying it's the Matrix, by saying we're rebooting this shit. I mean, there's whole scenes where they're like, well, Warner Brothers is telling us to, you know, redo the Matrix and everything, and we're under a contractual obligation, and they go through this whole bullshit thing. And yes, it's sometimes cool to be meta, don't get me wrong, but see, here's the deal, because the fact that you're being meta is not being clever. It's the fact that you're calling out your own bullshit. Because basically, you know what you're making, you know what this is, and you know that you're just aping off of the other films because you've got no other original ideas to speak of whatsoever. And that's the fucking shame of it all, man. I mean, why make this movie if you're just going to do the same thing over and over again and just trying to put in different characters but yet being the same thing, having the same leather outfits, the same dialogue, the same scenes? I mean, they're just aping off of nostalgia in a big bad way, and that is one of my biggest goddamn problems with movies nowadays. And it's the same thing with Matrix and a hell of a lot of other movies. Is that, okay, it's cool that you're showing me scenes that were similar to the first Matrix movie or Matrix Reloaded, that's fine, but if that's all you're doing, I can just watch the first goddamn Matrix movie. I don't need to watch this film to get the same scenes but done in lesser quality. I don't know, man. I mean, there's moments where I kind of thought it was cool. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris playing the analyst, he seems like he's having fun with the role, but he seems like he's sort of out of his element to the rest of the Matrix movie. There's interesting ideas here that they're kind of exploring, but not really. The idea of being the one, the idea of bringing back the Matrix, and how it would be in a world full of technology, and how we're so buried into our own phones that we lose a sense of reality anyways. Like, there's so many great concepts that this movie could have explored, and they didn't do it at all, man. They failed in every fucking aspect. I mean, the action scenes are dull, and the characters are just the same old shit that you've seen in other films. And I was just sitting there with Bob, and we were stunned. We were astonished by what we were watching. We literally were sitting there like bewilderment about, holy shit, man, seriously? Like, what was the point of making this movie in the first place if you're just not going to do anything unique or original or something that is a great continuation of the franchise? It just feels like you ran out of ideas and you wanted to make a more modern version of the Matrix, but not do it half as clever as you did it the first time around. It's a real goddamn shame, man. It really honestly is. And this is a real big missed opportunity. It's a disappointment. It's a letdown. And it's movies like The Matrix Resurrections that really go to saying, you know, sometimes be done after 3, okay? Be done after 3. Get out while you still can. Because sometimes a reboot is not exactly the right way to go. Maybe a sequel is not the right avenue to go towards. Maybe just let sleeping dogs lie. And bringing back the Matrix, resurrecting it, so to speak, you just end up showing more of the flaws. And movies like this are really evident of that. Man, I'll definitely be taking the blue pill on this motherfucker. Good old-fashioned rancher justice. Oh, with the Blu-ray of Yellowstone Season 4 for $24.96, the DVD for $19.96. Oh, yes. All that Yellowstone goodness, man. Back yet again for all you fans out there. And I got to admit, Yellowstone has become this big phenomenon. I see people talking about it all over the place on Facebook and social media, man. This has been a show that has definitely garnered a lot of love over the course of the seasons, man. Gained one hell of a following, and rightfully so, man. I've heard it's really phenomenal. I've yet to see a single episode of Yellowstone at all. And I know you guys are thinking I'm crazy. I got so much shit to watch. Like, Yellowstone is kind of on the back burner, but I really do want to watch it. And I'm sure this continues all the rancher bloody goodness, all the revenge and the drama and the rivalries. Oh, I'm sure it does, man. Oh, absolutely. I did look into some of the reviews on this season, and this season did get a little bit of criticism that it was a little bit over the top and tended to go a little too far with certain characters or storylines. I kind of heard that. I don't know how accurate that is. I do know that as a season goes on, a series I should say, that you kind of have to up the ante constantly. The killings and the characters and the drama and the betrayals and the mysteries, you kind of have to, and sometimes it goes to ridiculous lengths and then you have to pull it back. That's kind of what I'm hearing a little bit about Yellowstone. But even with that being said, people are still intrigued by this. They love the idea of this sprawling rancher epic. And again, like, I do appreciate shows like this. Again, it reminds me of something like Dallas long time ago, man. Just updated for modern times, man, and a little bit more over the top, I suppose. A little bit more gritty, maybe. Yeah, it'll have its moments. But again, as long as the characters are intriguing, as long as you're invested in the storyline, then that's what truly matters, man. And Kevin motherfucking Costner. I mean, if you're not intrigued by that guy, I don't know what you're intrigued by, man. One hell of an actor, and I've heard one hell of a show. Maybe one day I'll get into Yellowstone. Is it worth it? You guys gotta let me know, man. It is intriguing, and who doesn't love good old family drama, especially when done right? That could be some pretty good shit. Love in the Wild West. Redeeming Love for $17.96. Now, I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and I really didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. I have never read the best-selling novel. I'm not really into romance novels much. It's not really my jam, folks. But I was like, okay, it's a love story set in Western times. I was like, okay, I'm not really the biggest fan of most modern day Westerns, but maybe it's a good combination. Maybe it's something worth diving into. I figured I'd give it a go, man. I mean, basically, it's about this girl, Angel, who has had a very troubled life and is this whore in a brothel. And yes, you could just label her as a prostitute and just be done with it, but there's so much more to her, so many complexities, and this one rancher really takes a liking to her and wants to get her away from the life, and it's basically the struggle of their love and her getting away from being this thing that everybody wants her to be, and changing the expectations, and also learning to love one another at the same time. Okay, interesting, I'll go with it. Here's the problem with the movie, right? I mean, I will say this, though. The movie, for the first hour, I actually really dug the movie. I liked the flashbacks to Angel's life. I liked how her and the rancher were getting to know each other and seeing the drama of her being a prostitute at this brothel and getting beat up. And I liked all that, and I thought it was intriguing, and I was kind of going with it for the first hour. And then it starts to peter off after a while. Like, the movie is over 2 hours long, This movie does not need to be over 2 hours long, almost 2 hours and 15 minutes long. That's fucking nuts, man. They could have easily cut a half hour out of this movie, and I would have been absolutely okay with it. I mean, the first hour was intriguing. The second hour felt like I was like sitting there for like 5 hours. And they're getting to know each other, and they're, you know, picking eggs from the chickens, and they're, you know, taking the horse out and tilling the soil, and they're in bed together, and there's sexual tension, but they're not doing anything. And then the brother comes back, and he has drama with Angel, and yes, it's all well and good, and I kind of enjoyed it, but I just felt like it was kind of spinning its wheels after a while. Like, I was like, okay, let's get this going. Let's move this forward, man. And we're just not doing that. And that was the ultimate problem. I mean, the chemistry in the movie is fine. The two leads here do a really good job. I like Logan Marshall Green here. I thought he did good. I liked Abigail Cohen. I liked a small role Famke Janssen is in here. Eric Dane is pretty intimidating. I mean, overall, it's not a bad movie. Just needed to be shorter. Over 2 hours long, this film just felt like it was dragging at a certain point. It's intriguing, but I think what works in a book doesn't always work in a movie. And you could stretch things out in a book, and it doesn't feel like you're sitting there for a long time waiting for something to happen. But when you're watching a movie, sometimes you kind of feel like we got to speed this up a little bit. They're two different mediums, and what works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other. And with Redeeming Love, it's honestly the truth. It has its moments. It's not bad, but after a while, you kind of want the shit to be over with. I mean, really, I like a decent Western at times. I like a good love story. It had good potential, but it just didn't reach it, all things considered. I'm sure the book is better. The movie is a curiosity, but honestly, I've seen better. And speaking of more love stories, A Journal for Jordan. The Blu-ray digital for $19.96, the DVD for $17.96. Why not more love story goodness? I'm a sucker for it, I guess. I mean, I saw the trailer in the movie theaters, and I did like it, and I thought, oh, Michael B. Jordan in a romantic drama, that is kind of intriguing. I mean, come on, I do want a little bit of Michael B. Jordan in my life. He is that good of an actor, so I figured he's definitely going to elevate this above something that's average and mundane, so I definitely wanted to give it a try. And the movie is based off of a true story about this soldier, played by Jordan, who is in love with this woman, and they have this child, and he's writing this journal for his child, but never is actually able to give the journal to the kid because of tragic events that end up happening. And it's just basically him and this woman's love story and their dilemmas and struggles and perseverance of their love that is undying and never ending. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And all things considered, I did enjoy the movie. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I really did. I mean, I did think it was better overall than Redeeming Love. The problem is that this is another over 2 hour film, and it did not need to be that way. It's not like it gets mundane. It doesn't feel like it gets boring at times like Redeeming Love does. You're always intrigued by it, and you're always invested in the drama and the characters, but the problem is that, I mean, the acting is good, but the chemistry between Michael B. Jordan and Shantae Adams, I didn't think it was really there. I mean, there were moments where I really felt like they were in love with one another. There were moments where I really felt like they cared for each other, and there was passion, but I didn't really feel the connection that really made me feel like this is a completely unending, you know, undying love, that they really care for each other that much and they'll go to the ends of the earth for each other. It didn't really feel that way. I didn't really get the chemistry as much as I wanted to. And the other problem is Michael B. Jordan kind of comes off as a little bit cold in the film. So does Shantae Adams. And maybe that was what they were going for. Maybe that was the direction that they got. But it felt like it was kind of distant to me. It was hard to connect with the characters as much as I wanted to. I appreciated the passion, I appreciated the story, and it is a very heartbreaking story. Hey man, there were moments where I teared up, so I mean, it is effective at moments, but it just didn't quite get there the way I wanted it to. It's still good for what it is. It's a decent love story. It's very sweet and endearing and tragic, and I definitely dug it, but at the same time, I wasn't connected to it as much as I wanted to either, and that was a problem. I mean, look, it's expertly directed, it's really well acted, I'm really digging the story, but I just wasn't as invested as I wanted to be. And with love stories, for me, I really got to be invested full in for me to care 100%, and I just didn't. I'm sure the true story is amazing, and I'm sure that it really hits you in the feels, and the movie does it at moments, but it could have been so much more stronger, so much more amazing, and it just didn't quite reach the levels that I was hoping it was. Good acting. If you dig Michael B. Jordan half naked, hey, have at it. This is definitely your movie, but as far as passion is concerned, as far as really feeling a love story, I felt better. Silent night, holy night, what a boring movie, I really don't like. Oh, I had to suffer this film, please pray for me, I need help, I'm suffering, oh God please. Oh my Lord, why do I have to talk about this piece of shit? Oh my God. Oh, Silent Night, the DVD for $12.96. Holy fucking Lord, man. Here's to the end of the world. And let's hope every copy is erased from my goddamn memory. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, look, man, I had no idea what I was in for with this movie. Seriously, I did not know. I was like, okay, Keira Knightley is in here, Matthew Good, Annabelle Wallace. I'm like, okay, there's some good actors in here. It can't be that bad, right? Oh, shit, was I wrong? Fuck, man. I mean, I got a chance to watch it on Amazon Prime, and basically, it's about this dinner party with all of these friends and all these different variety of people that are coming together to celebrate the time together and good moments and laughs and memories. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, I guess this is just one of those movies where maybe some sort of weird secret thing is going to happen towards the end of the movie. You kind of feel that it's got to happen because it can't be like just a party that goes horribly wrong. There's got to be something more to the movie, and there is. The end of the world. Yeah, really, it is the truth, man. And I guess there's this storm cloud that kills you or turns you into some sort of zombie or raging corpse or something like that, and so everybody has these pills. I'm assuming they're like cyanide or something, and before the cloud comes to take you, you can actually take that pill and die a much easier death than what the cloud will end up bringing upon you. I got to admit, it wasn't really explained all that well, and so I also really didn't give a shit. I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, the problem is that these characters are not really all that redeemable. They're bitchy, they're dramatic, they're scumbags. Hell, even the little kids, man, like, they're little brats, they're little fucking assholes. Like, there's no redeeming of anybody here, man. And the problem is, it's like a 90-minute movie, maybe slightly less, and for the first hour, maybe even more of that, it's just this friend drama, family squabbling bullshit. And then towards the end of the movie, that's when they start to get into the idea of the end of the world and taking this pill, and other people have died and we have to relieve our suffering. And suddenly towards the end of the movie is when it actually starts to kind of get somewhat interesting. Before that, all it is everybody mundanely talking about their lives and memories and shit, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but can we actually get to the plot a little bit fucking quicker? And by the time it does, the movie's fucking ended, man. I mean, shit. I don't know, dude. This movie was a fucking bore fest. It really was. I mean, I like Keira Knightley. I like Matthew Good. Lily Rose Depp. Whatever. I mean, it's not that it's a bad film, all things considered. It is intriguing, but it's only intriguing towards the end of the movie. It's just characters talking about mundane shit for over half the fucking film. And you're just waiting for the interesting moments to happen, and it only gets good at the end of the film when there's the whole idea of this cloud that kills people in gruesome ways, and a pill that every person has. And you want to know more about that. You want to know more about the end of the world scenario and what happened to society and other people. But you don't. All you get are these fucking people. And it kind of pisses me off, man. It reminded me a lot of, like, The Purge. I mean, not that I hated the first Purge movie, but it was all inside. And the Purge idea is really amazing and fantastic. And the concept is really cool. But you didn't get to see any of that. It was like a home invasion drama, which is not terrible, all things considered, but it could have been a hell of a lot better. And the same thing with this. The concept is fascinating, and you like the idea of the story and the end of the world and what happened, but honestly, if you're looking for any interesting characters, if you're looking for any interesting moments of figuring out what happened to society, yeah, this movie doesn't give you jack shit, man. It was an absolute bore fest, dude. And part of me, like, halfway into the movie, I was starting to, like, go to sleep. I was like, and then there was, like, some sort of weird cloud that was going to kill people. I'm like, oh shit, what is, it's getting interesting? Oh shit, man, it's been 70 minutes. What the fuck? Like, goddamn, dude. I don't know, man. Like I said, God, this movie was just a slog to get through. It has an interesting concept, but it doesn't really do anything with it. And that's the fucking sad part, man. A missed opportunity? Yes, in a big bad motherfucking way. I mean, if you want to fall asleep, man, don't take a pill. Just watch Silent Night. That'll cure it all. Holy fuck, man. Damn, that movie's bad. Sheesh. Good lord, dude. But honestly, the physical media love is pretty goddamn good, all things considered. I mean, they definitely do have a lot. And I wonder if they have anything else. And indeed, there is a little bit more media worth checking out. Just a little bit more. Not sure it's good media, but it is something. And that is The Legend of La Llorona. The DVD for $12.96. Oh, my fucking lord. This evil bitch again. Oh, man. Her spirit lives. Yeah. And I'm fucking regretting every minute of it. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and I don't know why the fuck I did it. I should have known what I was walking myself into. God, this piece of hot garbage. Oh, man. I mean, basically, it's about this family, and they get caught up in the La Llorona legend, and then her evil is coming after them, and then they gotta stop her, yada, frickin' yada. Yeah, it happens all the goddamn time, don't it? Oh, man. Look, I'm gonna be real. This movie, oh, man, what a cheap fest this goddamn thing is, man. I mean, it's got Danny Trejo in it, right? And you think, hey, Danny motherfucking Trejo, right? I mean, come on, he's got to save this movie. Danny Trejo can save any movie. Yeah, you're sadly mistaken, man. Jesus. I think he's in this thing for maybe 10 minutes. Maybe, and that's being kind. I mean, I like Danny Trejo in the film, but, man, he can't even save this shit. And that's saying something, dude. The effects are really terrible. The acting is amateurish. I mean, come on. The makeup effects on La Llorona, if you told me that they got the makeup kit from Party City, I'd believe you, okay? I really would, man. I mean, hey, you saved a bunch of money. Looks like a bad Halloween costume. But sure, yeah, you're doing a great job, bro. Oh, man, really? I mean, the scares are limp dick like a motherfucker. I mean, God, you see that shit coming a mile away. It's really fucking bad, dude. And look, man, with bad green screen effects, really cheapo acting, makeup effects that look like maybe they got them from a third seller on Amazon from Party City. mean, maybe. Oh, Lord. Dude, I seen better cosplay at conventions than I have at this shit. And that's really fucking sad, dude. God damn, man. This is a theatrical movie? Who the fuck gave him money for this shit? I mean, La Llorona Legend can be interesting, can be unique. Children in Danger can really be frightening. But this movie's got none of that, man. I mean, if you want to see the most limp dick, cheapest horror film, I mean, yes, there's probably ones that are even cheaper than this, but you want to know what? At least they're kind of effective. The early stuff from Peter Jackson and even some old school 80s stuff, I mean, say what you will, but at least they were creative. This movie's got nothing creative what to speak of. And honestly, when Danny Trejo can't even save your movie, that's really, really fucking sad, man. Honestly, this movie is a really, really sad attempt at making a La Llorona scarefest. Oof, it really is, man. I mean, I'd rather have this chick drown in the river constantly than enjoy this movie. I think she'd thank me for that, guys. I think she really would. I mean, it's just laughably bad. And I don't know whether it was intentional or accidental. I guess it doesn't really matter, because if you're looking for a laugh fest of a La Llorona movie, I guess you got your flick, but you might giggle a little bit. You're probably gonna cry a little bit. And honestly, you really don't need to go into the lake to get killed by La Llorona. You just need to watch this movie. And if that's your intention, if that's what ends up happening to you, I'm not gonna say nice things at your funeral. You deserve everything that you get. You knew what you were getting into going into this film, and if that's how you died, that's really, really fucking sad. And a little bit more indie love to show off? Well, that's unique, especially for this Walmart, and that is La Soga for $12.96. Oh, my bad, La Soga Salvation. I've never heard of this. Never heard of this at all. No one can hide forever. Well, they ain't lying. Especially from La Soga. What is it about? Years after his final job as a highly sought-after hitman, Luisito has settled down with his girlfriend Leah in a quiet seaside town. Unfortunately, they do not enjoy peace for as long as Leah is kidnapped by someone who wants Luisito to use his skills one last time. With Leah's life hanging in the balance, Luisito takes on a crew of dangerous killers, including a particularly mysterious assassin who has long awaited the chance to even the score with their rival, La Soga. Ah, interesting. So this is like a sequel to the original La Soga, which is included in this release from 2010. Holy shit. So literally, this is a sequel to a 2010 film made in like 2021, maybe 2020, somewhere around there. Holy shit, man. Like 10 or so years later, they actually got to a sequel. Wow. This one was really highly requested, wasn't it? Oof. I mean, look, I actually really do like these type of films. Somebody that's gotten out of the game, that ends up having to come back, forced to come back, so to speak, and kick a lot of ass in the process. I do definitely dig those type of flicks. I really do. They're always pretty good, man. I do like that stuff a lot, man. I mean, Denzel's done a few of them. Antonio Banderas, you name it. I do dig those type of films. But I've never heard of this one, man. Maybe it's kick-ass. Maybe it's cool. I don't really know, man. I mean, sometimes they're kind of cool, underrated gems. But something tells me that this one, there's a reason why it's went under the radar. I like the idea, but I'm probably not going to take the gamble. I wonder if you guys are. Do you even know about La Soga? If you do, let me know. Is it even good? If it is, man, surprise of a motherfucking lifetime. That's for goddamn sure. Huh, interesting. Some interesting indie love indeed. Of course, all of the goodies as well. Even exclusive love. Man, oh man, I gotta tell ya, Walmart definitely did their due diligence this week. And I'm loving every second of it. Let's head out. On a sizable physical media release week, if I had to deal with only Paw Patrol again, somebody was gonna get the hammer laid on them. They really were, man. Oh my god, dude. But thankfully that was not the case, and they ended up giving us so much physical media goodness, the new release goodies, the indie love, exclusives as well. They definitely did their due diligence, and I think they realized that they kind of fucked up last week, and they definitely needed to get back on the physical media train, so to speak. And I'm glad I didn't have to crack a few skulls, because if I did, there would have been some casualties. Indeed, there would have been for sure, man. Glad that didn't end up being the case, and they ended up getting back to the way that I like them to be for sure, man. Not half bad, all things considered, for all that physical media goodness. About damn time, don't you think? I definitely do. No cracking skulls here, and they better be damn glad for it. But how about we go to more locations? Hopefully the physical media love fest continues. All right, everybody, we are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I gotta talk to you guys about something. So, officially, The Batman is out there in the world. Hopefully you have watched it. Hopefully you're digging a little Gotham love. However, you may be paying a little bit more for The Batman compared to other movies. Why exactly? Well, Variety will answer. AMC charging more for the Batman tickets, just like Spielberg and Lucas predicted 9 years ago. Let's dive in, shall we? AMC Theaters CEO Adam Aron dropped a bombshell this week by announcing the exhibition chain will charge more for tickets to The Batman as part of a variable pricing experiment. Tickets to the Robert Pattinson starring comic book tempo will be slightly higher than the prices for other movies, playing in the same theaters at the same time. Aaron said during an AMC earnings call, according to Entertainment Weekly, AMC is charging an extra $1.50 on adult tickets for The Batman in Los Angeles. This is all quite novel in the United States, but actually AMC has been doing it for years in our European theaters, Aaron said. Indeed, in Europe, we charge a premium for the best seats in the house and do just about all other sellers of tickets in other industries, think sports events, concerts, and live theaters, for example. While The Batman marks AMC Theaters' first notable use of variable pricing in the U.S., it's a concept many blockbuster directors have been predicting for nearly a decade. Speaking at a 2013 panel at the University of Southern California, George Lucas shared his belief that moviegoing would eventually resemble Broadway or sporting events in the theaters would have different pricing tiers for different kinds of films. What you're going to end up with is fewer theaters, Lucas said in 2013. Bigger theaters with a lot of nice things. Going to the movies is going to cost you $50, maybe $100, maybe $150. And that's going to be what we call the movie business. But everything else is going to look more like cable television on TiVo. It's looking more like it, ain't it? Lucas was joined on the 2013 panel by Steven Spielberg, who added, there's going to be an implosion where 3 or 4 or maybe even half a dozen of these mega budget movies are going to go crashing into the ground, and that's going to change the paradigm again. There's going to eventually be a day and date with movies, and eventually there's going to be a price variance. You're going to have to pay $25 to see the next Iron Man, and you're probably only going to have to pay $7 to see Lincoln. Oh, he might be right. Spielberg was right about day-and-day releases in which films open in theaters on the same day they become available on VOD streaming platforms, and now his prediction about superhero films costing more than drama films is turning out to be true as well. Ron Howard also agreed with the prediction, saying at Wall Street Journal's 2020 Tech Live conference that movie exhibition is going to end up more like Broadway exhibition. The multiplexes are going to become a little bit like Broadway in a way. That's where the expensive projects go, is to get as many people in there to create memorable events. There's also going to be a place for dramas playing out on big screens, more sophisticated fare for perhaps older audiences. The exhibitors are going to find that price point where the economics can work. Oh, indeed they are. And it's weird to think that 9 years ago, they actually predicted it. That's kind of crazy to think about. Very eerie. Oh, indeed it is, man. And honestly, this is where the theaters are heading. Now, I know some of the argument that you guys are going to give me. Well, it's only $1.50, all things considered. I mean, is that really going to break the bank? And you're right. It's not going to break the bank, all right? Truth be told, it's not. But think about $1.50 every single person. That starts to rack up pretty goddamn fast. And honestly, here's the thing about it, though. I can't quite say that it's that high of a price point, but then again, we're just starting to go down this road. And I could see that price jumping up to $2, $3, $4, hell, maybe even $5. If you really want to go see that certain movie, that event film, why not pay the extra money? I mean, if you want to see it, pay up, baby. That's what it's going to be like. And look, here's another problem with the scenario overall. And I know they've been doing this in other countries, and that's fine, but the pandemic has really hurt movie theaters in a big, bad way. AMC is not exactly one to have been escaping this. They've been hurt really badly by it as well. And so to then say to the average moviegoer, oh yes, by the way, I know that this other movie costs lesser than the Batman, but because the Batman is a more event film, well, you're going to have to pay more money to it. And that drives people away from the movie theaters. Because then they're like, you know what? Fuck it. If the movie is probably going to hit on HBO Max in like a month's time, fuck it. I'll just wait. I don't have to pay the extra money. I'm already subscribed to HBO Max as it is. Shit, I'm just going to take the fucking gamble and wait on the goddamn thing and avoid spoilers. And people do that already. And consumers nowadays are being hit with so much prices. High prices in every aspect. To then say to them, oh yeah, by the way, we're upping the price on everything and movie tickets as well, on top of concessions, on top of obviously driving to the location and dealing with all the hassles that you have to in a movie theater, to then pay more money for it, you're expecting a better experience. And if you don't get that experience, then you're less likely to go back to the movie theater. And it's just one of those things. Look, I love movie theaters. I love them, and I want to keep the feeling of going to a movie theater and the collective consciousness of having an event and the oohs and the ahs and, you know, the great shouting and the screaming and really engaging with everybody with a great cinematic experience. I want that to continue. But the problem is that, honestly, a lot of movies no longer do that, and it is event films that bring them in. I talked last week about these mid-budget movies and how they're going the way of the dinosaur and how it's really only these big event movies. And honestly, Lucas and Spielberg and Howard, they predicted that shit. And now we're living it. And the pandemic sped up the process. So now these mid-budget movies that don't make that much money for the studios, they're getting put on streaming. Movie theaters need them to get more diverse people into the theater, get more butts in the seats. And on top of that, now the movie theaters are like, okay, if you're not going to give us more content than the content that we are getting, the big budget films, we have to up the price of those in order to make it worth our while to survive. So that means that more consumers are either going to deal with the price increase or say, fuck it, I'll just go with streaming instead, because after the 45 day window, they're going to be on the streaming service anyways. So we're just losing, man. That's what we're doing. And I don't get it. I mean, you would think at this point that you would want to make it easier for consumers to get back into going to the cinemas again, to want to enjoy the experience, not to up the price for the sake of upping the price, because it's the motherfucking Batman. I mean, it's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but, you know, at this point, if AMC sees that it's working, if they see that $1.50 is working and it's successful, then they're going to be like, okay, well, for Avatar, we're going to up it to $4 or $5. And for the latest Star Wars movie or Marvel, I mean, these are event movies. You want to see them, right? So, well, you're either going to give us the extra money or, well, you're shit out of luck. Look, I don't have an AMC in my area. I have a Regal, a Movie Tavern, so I don't know about the raising the prices. But again, if Regal and those other companies see that this is working for AMC, do you think they're going to be like, oh, we're not going to do it? No, they're going to do this shit. Of course they are going to do it. If another entity sees that something is working, do you think they're just going to walk away, or are they actually going to try it themselves? Come on, man. I don't know. I mean, it's not that much money, but it's just the idea of it, and the idea that we're upping the price for consumers when we're just starting to get back to a certain sense of normalcy, and these movies are intriguing and people want to go see them, and now we're just upping the price because of it. The pandemic hurt all of us. It didn't just hurt the movie studios, it hurt the movie theaters, and it hurt consumers, and now to just raise the prices for the sake of raising prices for certain films, I think eventually it is going to blow up in their face. And I think eventually down the line, we may see a time where to go to the movies is going to be like a Broadway experience. It may not happen this year. It won't happen next year. Hell, it might not even happen in 5 years' time. But it will eventually happen because we're seeing the content in movie theaters shrinking. We're seeing big budget films really being the primary ones that are taking over. And that only means that they're more expensive. That only means that movie studios are paying more money for them, which means that movie theaters have to play them more, which means that they need to get more money from the back end, which means that they have to end up charging you more in order to make that money and surviving. It's all a vicious cycle, man. And at the end of the day, who loses out? You do. It's a shame, but this is the way that it's going to go, and this is the way it's going to happen. And don't be shocked when it does. I warned you. It's starting already, and it ain't stopping anytime soon. Definitely let me know what you think about that, guys. It's intriguing, the fact that it was predicted all those years ago, and it's finally coming true. Who's to say that Lucas can't predict anything? The man knows what he's talking about. Well, sometimes. Let me know what you think about that. In the meantime, there is physical media love, baby. There is plenty of it. And let's hope Target provides a lot. Let's hope so indeed. Let's go in. Check it out. All right, everybody. We are in at Target, and, well, come on. Wasn't it a given that they were going to have amazing physical media goodness this week? Oh, and they definitely do. It's Target. Come on, they do it all the damn time. And this week is no exception. Let's dive in, baby. Well, the first thing I'm seeing, and that is none other than the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray Digital with The Matrix Resurrections for $32.99, the Blu-ray DVD Digital for $26.99, the DVD Digital for $22.99. They also have that glorious Matrix 4-film Deja Vu collection set, Blu-ray Digital for $44.99. With most likely this is the regular artwork and not that exclusive that we saw at Walmart, but that is still pretty cool regardless. I do really dig that artwork, man. Not half bad. For $45, all things considered, for 4 films on Blu-ray, not so terrible after all, man. I mean, they have that, but oh, that is not all, because we have one more thing. Oh, and this is glorious, baby. Yet another exclusive Blu-ray DVD Digital for $26.99 only at Target. Oh, that is pretty damn sweet. Look at that. Nice. The red pill and the blue pill all together. It also comes with exclusive collectible character cards. Nice. Oh, that's pretty sweet. And I love the character cards. Look at that. With the red and blue with the sunglasses. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Oh, that's not bad, man. Target does some really interesting exclusives and add Matrix Resurrections to the list, man. Not bad at all. And especially all the variety for all the Matrix lovers out there. They're definitely catering to the Matrix crowd in a big, bad way. Now, let me take you in the Wayback Machine. Let me take you all the way back to 1999. Oh, man, that was some good shit. Indeed it was. The new Will Smith album dropped, Millennium. Yeah, I did buy it. I know I'm totally dating myself, man. We also had the fear of Y2K, all the end of the world. Everything was gonna suddenly stop working. I know, it was fearful times, ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, you also had that, and you had 2 science fiction films come out in 1999. You had Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Do you remember that? Long lines, people anticipating it, cosplaying up the ass, people literally waiting in line for over 6 months or more to seriously watch the movie. Man, talk about very, very bad BO. Yeah, it was insane. Okay, and when that movie came out, that was really high profile. That was a huge hit. Everybody was like, oh my God, Star Wars. It was the high profile, popular science fiction film that year. But lest we forget, there was an underground sci-fi film that came out, which people were really like, wow, this really blew my mind. And it really sort of was like the anti-Star Wars. And it was The Matrix, baby. Oh, yes, it was. And I remember when that came out. And at first, I didn't watch it because I was like, Star Wars, man. Star Wars is so much better. Why would I dive into The Matrix? Pfft, Matrix has nothing on Star Wars. And once I watched it, oh my God, I was blown away. I couldn't believe how good the fucking movie was, man. It was everything that I never thought I wanted, but I really did. It was so fucking phenomenal. The action, the sci-fi themes, the world, I was blown away. I was literally blown away. And over time, The Matrix has definitely overtaken Star Wars Episode 1 as the better film, and rightfully so. I know you guys definitely understand that and agree with me in a big bad way. And over time, that movie garnered even more love. It garnered a lot of praise, and people bought that ad nauseum. In fact, I think The Matrix was one of the first DVDs to sell an insane amount, man. It was like crazy how much people bought that disc, man. It was nuts. And over time, there were parodies, there were homages. I mean, that really, over time, gained popularity within the zeitgeist. And a few years later, 2003, we got Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. And the hype was insane. Seriously, I can't even believe, if you go back and remember that, people were really mega psyched for that movie, man. Both of them, actually. It was the same year, 2003, if you remember, the same year that X-Men 2 came out. Yes. God, it seems like forever ago, but yeah, it's not that long, honestly. Like, almost 20 years? Oh, fuck, man, maybe it is a long-ass time. Shit. But I remember being in the movie theater watching Matrix Reloaded with Bob, because at that point, it was such an event movie. Everybody wanted to go see it. The next adventures of Neo, the One. And after walking out of the theater in Matrix Reloaded, it kind of felt the same of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, right? Because when you left Star Wars The Phantom Menace, you were like, yeah, that was good. There was some good parts to that. Yeah, I mean, the action, that wasn't bad. And you kept trying to convince yourself that the movie was good, right? Can't be that bad. I mean, come on. And it's the same thing with The Matrix Reloaded. Like, there were a lot of times when I was like, yeah, the movie's not bad. I mean, you know, the car chase. And I was trying to convince myself that it was better than it actually was. And it's not all that great. I think over time, I think there's been more of a reappreciation for Reloaded than there was back in the day. But it's still not a great film, all things considered. There's moments that I like. Like the car chase scene is really cool. Merovingian, he's fucking awesome in that movie, man. There's moments, but the Zion stuff really sucked ass. And the wooden acting and just didn't really do much for me. It was sort of anticlimactic and overly melodramatic at times. I was like, shit. It's not bad, but it could have been way better. And then when Matrix Revolutions came out, the hype had kind of died down because people were kind of lackluster on Reloaded. So Revolutions still made a lot of money, still garnered a lot of people going to the theater making big bucks, but didn't get the type of hype that Reloaded did. But honestly, I happen to think Reloaded is a lesser film than Revolutions is. I think Revolutions is the better movie. I think the action is better. I think the drama is better. I think the payoffs are better. I enjoy the overall storyline with the war with Zion much better than I did in Reloaded. Yes, Reloaded is more of the setup and Revolutions is more of the payoff, so I guess that, makes sense that Revolutions would deliver more than what Reloaded did, but I tend to like Revolutions more than Reloaded. I know it's crazy, and I know it's a sin because most people consider Reloaded better than Revolutions. I'm the opposite. I actually like the whole storyline with Neo much better in that movie. I just like the overall stuff with the Sentinels and the Matrix world. And come on, we didn't have the architect in Revolution, so it made it so much better. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what that fucking guy said at the end of that movie. Okay? I'm still trying to decipher that shit. And so it was still lackluster. It still wasn't as great as it could have been. And a lot of people after Revolutions pretty much were like, okay, it's done. Right? It's not perfect. It has its flaws, a lot of warts. But they made it a trilogy at the end of the day. Okay, fine, right? They said what they had to say. It's done. It's over. History will judge it either fairly or unfairly, whatever happens, right? However, money talks, bullshit walks, and eventually, well, of course they had to make yet another one. Sometimes a fourth film is not exactly the best way to go in a franchise. Sometimes a trilogy is just good enough. I mean, you look at Indiana Jones. Seriously, after The Last Crusade, I didn't need any more. I mean, you look at something like Alien 3, which I know a lot of people really shit on Alien 3. I happen to really dig Alien 3. I really love the assembly cut. I think it's a much better film overall. And at the end, when Ripley sacrifices herself, oh, spoiler alert for Alien 3. I mean, the movie came out, what, in 91, 92? We haven't seen it yet. Fuck yourself, man. But when she sacrifices herself, you know, it felt like the ending to her story. And of course, then they had to do Alien Resurrection, which, by the way, I've kind of softened up to that movie after a while. It's not perfect, and it's got a lot of flaws, and it's really unneeded, but I tended to dig it. I thought it was fine. I mean, sometimes a fourth film is a little too much. It just feels like you're overdoing it. Sometimes there's a symmetry to a trilogy that works ever so perfectly. I mean, think about Back to the Future. Would you really want a fourth film in the Back to the Future trilogy? I mean, at the end of the third film, Marty is happy, Doc is happy, they've really ended up wrapping things up in a really satisfying way, and then to come back many, many years later, it kind of feels like it would cheapen the experience a little bit, and that kind of feels the same way here. I mean, coming back to a franchise years later doesn't always work the best. It really doesn't, man. I mean, sometimes it works better than you might think it does, like with Clerks 2. I was surprised how much I like Clerks 2, man. I mean, going back to the well yet another time kind of actually ended up working. They did something unique and interesting, yet keeping the same vibe to it. Or if you look at, you know, something like The Godfather. I know 1 and 2 are absolute classics. There is absolutely no denying that. But going back to the well for the third time, I actually think they did a good job with that. I know I'm in the minority, I get it, man, but think about it. They didn't do the same thing over again. They tried to do something different with Michael Corleone and the storyline, and I like that it wasn't the same mob movie over and over again. That Francis Ford Coppola wanted to tell a unique story. Of course, that's why he got shit on for telling a different story and not doing the same film again. But I think if you look back on Godfather 3, it was a unique opportunity to do something different. Was it 100% successful? Well, that's up for other people to decide, but I tended to dig it a lot. But the problem with going back to the well is that you really either have to do something new and unique and do something outside the box, or you're going to do the same similar thing over and frickin' over again. And that's really the problem with Matrix Resurrections. It could have been unique. It could have been amazing. It could have really taken the story and spun it in some really unique and interesting directions and really revitalized the franchise in a lot of ways. Because, look, at the end of Revolutions, Neo's dead. I mean, the one has sacrificed himself. There's peace within the Matrix and the real world between the machines and Zion. And where that story could go next would be really interesting and really unique and incredibly fascinating. And even in this movie, old Niobe ends up basically saying, oh, well, this is all the stuff that happened between the Matrix, the machines, and Zion, and all of the stuff happened. And I like where they went with it. I like how they talked about it. The problem is that I would have rather had seen that movie than see this flick. I mean, that's really the problem that I have with it ultimately, because, well, I think that would have been a hell of a lot more fascinating than what we got. I mean, to bring back Keanu Reeves, to bring back the character of Neo, to just basically do a complete-on reboot, reimagining of the same story, just regurgitated in a different way, that doesn't appeal to me. That doesn't interest me. And that ultimately kind of sucked. And it just, unfortunately, it took all the great elements from the original film and spun it into something that was a lesser model. It's got moments, okay? It's got moments where there's a lot of potential here, but it ultimately fails, and that's just such a damn shame, because I'm not saying that they could have completely revitalized The Matrix, but I think at the end of the day, I think they could have done something unique and interesting that could have really been revolutionary for the franchise and really could have been a game changer for the science fiction genre, just like the game changer was for the first Matrix movie and really opened people's eyes to the possibilities. This movie could have taken it in a whole different direction, a whole different spin. We've got so much sci-fi nowadays with all the Star Wars stuff and new Star Trek iterations, and Matrix could have came in and really blown the doors off of the whole thing and really changed the game yet again. And unfortunately, it didn't, and we just got the same old thing, but with lesser characters, lesser story, lesser action, and this was an opportunity to really do something unique and interesting, and unfortunately, if all we're getting is the same old thing, just repackaged, there's really no point. Sometimes trilogies are trilogies for a reason. They have a beginning, they have a middle, and an end. And when you extend it, well, you get movies like Matrix Resurrections. And God help us all. Now, who doesn't dig a little love, especially when it's redeeming love? The Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99. Oh, I can absolutely dig it indeed. Cowboy Western love stories. I do tend to like them from time to time. I mean, yes, they're not all created equal, to be fair, but I do tend to like some of them, not all of them. I think one of my favorites is Urban Cowboy with Travolta. I mean, okay, it's more of a modern take than anything else, but I really love that one. A really highly underrated Travolta flick in the biggest, baddest way. It's really amazing, really awesome. I really love that one a lot. Doesn't nearly get the kind of love that it really deserves, but oh, so damn good, man. I mean, I love that one. You could even say The Horse Whisperer. I mean, The Horse Whisperer is kind of a romance western flick. You can definitely say that one. That one is pretty good. The Longest Ride. Yeah, not a bad Nicholas Sparks adaptation. That one's a pretty good one. And I would also say Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt. That's a pretty solid flick, too, all things considered. I mean, yeah, they're more modern day. Some of them, Legends of the Fall is more old school, but they're more modern day ones. But it's hard to do old school Western love stories, right? I mean, the old school ones is, you know, the tough ass cowboy gets on his horse and, you know, he gets the girl and saves the day. Yeah, the old school ones are fine. Clint made a bunch of them. But honestly, I'm not as huge of a fan of Westerns as other people are, and the ones that are the love stories are not as intriguing as I'd like them to be. There's only a small amount of ones that I actually do love. This one had the potential to be one of them, and with it being over 2 hours long, I think that's the crutch of it, because it's not that you can't make a good one that's 2 hours long. You can. There's been examples of it in the past, but this needed to be shaved by 15 or so minutes. It's hard to keep the suspense and the intrigue going for that long of a time. And some movies just sort of fall under the weight of that. And Redeeming Love is one of them that unfortunately does that. It's a decent movie, all things considered, with great performances. But had it been a shorter movie, I think I would have been more on board with it. 2-hour love stories are not exactly the easiest things to pull off in the world, and Redeeming Love is one of those reasons why. And speaking of more love, a journal for Jordan. The Blu-ray digital for $22.99, the DVD for $19.99, and I do love me a good love war drama. It's not really war exactly, but it's a soldier dealing with love and dealing with being in the military and the complications of that. And there is some good ones out there that I kind of like. I mean, there is Dear John with Channing Tatum. Okay, not the best example, but I do tend to dig that one. It's not half bad, all things considered. I mean, not great, but it ain't half bad. I mean, there's Australia, which is pretty interesting. There is Cold Mountain. It's not half bad. My favorite is An Officer and a Gentleman. Oh my god, do I love An Officer and a Gentleman. Richard motherfucking Gere. Oh, it's so goddamn good, man. Especially at the end of that movie. Man, that shit's memorable, dude. It really is. I do dig that one a lot, man. I just kind of wish that this was in the same vein of that. I know it's a tragedy at the end of the day. There is no really happy ending. There is sort of a silver lining that she's not alone, that she has her child. I do appreciate that. But again, the movie is a little bit too long for its own good. The same with Redeeming Love. It just felt a little bloated at times. I understand it's a sprawling story. I understand that you want to tell this in a really great, personal, dramatic, dynamic way. It just didn't really do much for me as much as I wanted to. Again, the chemistry is also a little off. I mean, look, you look at An Officer and a Gentleman, and their chemistry is on fire, okay? It is freaking great. Deborah Winger and Richard Gere are phenomenal. You don't get the same kind of chemistry with them. I mean, even though they're good, it just didn't really feel... It felt distant. Distant love, I would say. Still good, but not as powerful as I was hoping it was. And again, the movie is directed by Denzel Washington. And Denzel's a really great actor, phenomenal director. He gets good performances, but I don't think he was able to tell the story as good as he could have. Which is weird because it's Denzel. He's a fucking expert. But he didn't quite pull it off, man. Again, I do love a really great love romance story, the drama to that. And I did like it at certain moments, but unfortunately, it didn't quite pay off the way I was hoping for. Good, but great? Not exactly. Enough about love. Let's dive into a little Western action with Yellowstone, the Blu-ray for $29.99, the DVD for $22.99, Season 4, baby. Kevin motherfucking Costner. Oh, baby. Kevin Costner. Oh, you gotta love it, dude. He is phenomenal. He is one of the best actors of all time, in my honest opinion. And he just exudes tough. He really does, man. He exudes badass and toughness. And, I mean, it also helps the fact that he's a really good fucking actor, too, man. Robin Hood, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, those alone get him in the Hall of Fame, guys. But I mean, there's so much more. I mean, The Bodyguard, which is absolutely phenomenal. Dances with Motherfucking Wolves. Tin Cup. He is a phenomenal actor. Amazing. And, well, I say amazing as in, like, he hasn't done some stinkers because, you know, there is Waterworld and The Postman. They can't all be winners, folks. But he is really good. He's a really solid actor for the most part, and boy, does he give it his all, man. And honestly, this is not his first rodeo doing a type of Western drama in a lot of ways. He's done a lot of them in the past. I mean, Let Him Go, Silverado, Wyatt Earp, hell, he even did a little bit of the miniseries The Hatfields and McCoys. he's definitely been preparing himself for this type of role for a really long time, man, and Kevin Costner shines in it. It's probably one of the reasons why it's as popular as it is, because Kevin Costner is such a big name actor. To have him do television is not exactly the easiest thing in the world, but I kind of feel like television is definitely grabbing more big time actors, and seeing Kevin Costner do this, you're kind of like, wow, if a big name, high profile actor like Kevin Costner can move over to TV and do it successfully, then other people can. Well, not always. You gotta find the right project. And for Kevin Costner, Yellowstone is actually the one that makes him shine in a big bad way. If it works, you go with it. And him and Westerns, they go together pretty damn good, ain't gonna lie. Coming to America, do. I feel good. Oh my God. Seeing this in stores is wild, man. Coming to America, baby. The sequel to the ever-loving Eddie Murphy classic, man. The Blu-ray for $14.99. I mean, this was like an Amazon Prime exclusive, only on digital. And the fact that it's getting a physical release, that is pretty goddamn sweet. It gives me hope for a lot of other ones that are trapped in streaming hell. Let's hope that this is a trend that continues, because if it is, it's a pretty good trend to be a part of. Not bad at all, man. However, well, the movie is another thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, John and I did a movie review on Coming to America. It is on the Film Fan 108 Facebook page. Yes, we do put exclusive content on the Facebook page from time to time, and the Coming to America review is there. And you can enjoy the goofiness that we did, all of our thoughts. It is right there, man. But look, we were excited for Coming to America. I'm not gonna lie, because we love the original movie. It's a goddamn classic, man. It's funny as hell, iconic characters. It stood the test of time. It's one of the best Eddie Murphy movies ever, period, man. So the fact that they decided to do a sequel kind of intrigued me, but yet feared me, because I was like, oh my God, man, this could go all kinds of wrong. And it has the potential to be one of those sequels that really should never have been made. So here I am thinking to myself, hey, okay, let's press play, let's go, man. And basically it's about Akeem, who is living his wonderful life in Zamunda with his wife and his kids, and hell, man, they even got their own McDowell's, man. Hell, they're living it up, motherfucker. And basically, the king ends up saying, Keem, you have a son. You have to go and get your son. And so it's like, how does he have a son? What happened? The heir to the throne. And so it's basically him finding out about his son, have a relationship with him, and also bring him into the fold, into the royal fold of Zamunda. Yes, indeed, man. Unfortunately, the movie really misses the goddamn mark, man. It really honestly does. There is a lot of reasons why this movie doesn't work, but it's not like they aren't trying, because they are. I mean, they're bringing back a lot of the core players here. Eddie, James Earl Jones, Arsenio Hall, a lot of the bit players come back here as well. Hell, even Louis Anderson made a cameo. I mean, he's moving on up within the McDowell's franchise. I mean, he was cutting the lettuce, now he's doing the fries, and eventually, oh, he's getting to be manager, goddammit. Slowly working his way up over the years. It just takes time, man. Management's a bitch. It really is. So, they're bringing back a lot of the core cast here, and the beginnings of the movie, I'm like, oh man, it's like pure nostalgia. I miss these characters, I'm loving it, and it just slowly goes downhill, because they really have no original story to tell here. All they're doing is aping off of the original film. Every little character, every little cameo, every little scenario that is a callback to the original film. I mean, there is nothing here that is original, that stands on its own, essentially. Everything is in service to that original movie. And it's not like that is a bad thing entirely, because, to be fair, there's a lot of great movies, a lot of great sequels years after the fact that can still ape off of the original And that's fine, but they do their own thing. They do something unique and different, and they're not trying to do everything to like, hey, remember this thing here, remember that. And yes, you can have a little bit of that, but you don't want your whole story to revolve around nostalgia. And that's the fucking problem with this movie, man. It's just nostalgia city all over the place. And some of it I just felt was really forced. Other times it was really lame, and I barely laughed at this movie, man. I mean, I've always said this. When it comes to a comedy, the biggest sin that a comedy can make is that it's just not funny. And this sequel is just not funny. It felt forced. It felt like they're trying too hard. And it felt like they were trying to overdo it at every single aspect. Like they're trying to ad-lib constantly. And unfortunately, that doesn't always work, man. And Eddie Murphy here feels kind of limp dick. I mean, kind of like he's not really even trying, man. I mean, he's there for the paycheck, but he kind of feels like he's on autopilot, which is weird because seeing My Name is Dolomite, he was fucking awesome in that movie. And here, he's not really all that funny. I mean, he's there to kind of do his signature laugh and do a couple characters, but he just kind of feels like he's uninspired, and everybody else around Eddie is trying to pick up the slack, and they just can't really pull it off. I mean, even Arsenio Hall doesn't really get the type of love that I was hoping he did. He kind of took a back seat as well. And it just kind of felt like everyone was going through the motions and just there for the paycheck, unfortunately, which is a goddamn shame. I mean, Craig Brewer is a great director. I mean, Black Snake Moan, the Footloose remake, My Name is Dolomite. I mean, he's a really great director. Phenomenal. But the problem is he went into this movie as a fan of the original film, and he never really took it seriously as a film itself. He was such a big fan of the moments in that original movie and of Eddie. I think he just let Eddie go and do whatever the hell he wanted. He had rose-colored glasses on, and he didn't really know how to handle the comedy as well as he could have. If you look at somebody like John Landis, who directed the original film, he knows how to time comedy, he knows how to pay off jokes, and that's why that movie works as well as it does. If you compare Coming to America, the original, to this movie here, the sequel, it's night and day, man. I mean, not nearly as funny, not nearly as memorable, and not nearly as iconic, and it just fails in every single aspect. It's really a shame because I love Eddie, I love Craig Brewer, I love a lot of these actors, and I was so happy to see this movie, man, because I was like, oh my god, Coming to America, who'd have thought we'd actually get a sequel? Well, come to find out, we didn't really need the sequel, because all it is a nostalgia trip, and not even a really good one at that. It's a goddamn shame, man. It's just felt so forced and so unneeded and so unfunny. The only part that I liked in the movie, me and John fucking loved it, is Randy Watson, baby. We love Randy Watson, man. There's that good looking mofo motherfucker. We loved it. At the end of the movie, when he shows up, man, John's got his cell phone out, he's taking pictures, man. We're having a blast, and that's the one time that we really loved the movie. Every time, yeah, you see the barbershop again, and yeah, you see a couple of the old school characters here and old school characters there, and it just felt like, remember berries? Come on, here's the airplane, it's coming in. It just really felt like they were just trying to hit you over the head with every single thing from that first movie, and they were never doing anything original on their own to make it diverse and stand out from just being a retread of everything from the first film, which is really sucks, man. It just felt like everybody was forcing it too much or just ad-libbing like crazy, and nobody had a handle on the script, nobody had a handle on the actors, and unfortunately it's a mess. It's a mess of a movie, man, and that really sucks because Eddie is a great actor. He's a great comedic actor. He's an icon. He's a legend. And seeing him in certain roles like a Bowfinger or Beverly Hills Cop, or even something recent as Dreamgirls, you realize how much potential he has. But he needs to be reined in. He needs to not go crazy with ad-libbing. He needs to be inspired by the material. And if you look at this movie, it is one of Eddie Murphy's lesser films, which is a real goddamn shame. I mean, it's not bad on the level of Norbit. I'm okay. I mean, Norbit's a real piece of shit, right? So it's not that bad. It's just kind of mundane and lesser than average. And for a Coming to America sequel, especially coming off a movie that's so iconic, you're never gonna really repeat how great that original movie was, but you can kind of get close. And this movie, unfortunately, I can kind of see why it went straight to streaming. I mean, if you're a fan of Eddie, it's worth a curiosity, but honestly, as somebody who loves Coming to America, the original, this film was a real, and I mean real, goddamn disappointment. We are the champions. The national champions. The Blu-ray digital for $22.99. Another new release love this week, man. With J.K. Simmons, Kristen Chenoweth. Interesting. Little college football love, perhaps? What is this about? 3 days before the college football national championship game, star quarterback LaMarcus James and teammate Emmett Sunday ignited a player strike, declaring they won't compete until all student athletes are fairly compensated. Well, it's a good way to advocate, ain't gonna lie. With billions of dollars at risk and legacies on the line, the stakes could not be higher. Now with only hours until kickoff, the head coach, of course it's gotta be JK, and various power brokers must race against the clock to protect or destroy the prevailing collegiate athletic system. Oh, indeed they do, man. Interesting. I didn't get a chance to watch this or anything, but I do like college football movies, like Necessary Roughness. Oh, dude, Necessary Roughness is awesome. Rudy, amazing, inspiring shit, dude. Love that type of stuff in a big bad way. And J.K. Simmons, oh man, I mean, if there's any reason to watch this movie, it's because of J.K. I love that guy. I mean, most people know him as J. Jonah Jameson. Fair enough, I get it. It's really popular, man. But I mean, come on, Whiplash. Whiplash is fucking phenomenal. It's out of this world, dude. He kills it in that role. But I even knew him before that in Oz. If you have ever seen that HBO prison drama series, it is so goddamn good. He is eerie, creepy, menacing. He is so goddamn good. When everyone was like, J. Jonah Jameson, I'm like, Schillinger, man. That guy, dude, he's killer. Interesting. I know college athletes are doing this nowadays, the whole fair compensation thing, because, man, these kids put their bodies on the line for colleges, and basically they get nothing out of it whatsoever until they go to the pros, and a lot of them end up hurting themselves majorly and sometimes never even get to the pros. So I get it. I understand it. It makes a lot of sense, and even a movie about it makes even more sense to me. Not bad. A little J.K. Simmons love, an interesting storyline. Could it be one of the better college football movies in recent years? Perhaps. I think it's one definitely worth diving into. Adventure Time? Distant Lands? I have no idea what this thing is, man. The DVD for $9.99 from Cartoon Network and HBO Max. Really? Boy, I gotta tell you, man, I am so out of the animation game. It is not even funny, man. I haven't watched Cartoon Network in years. I don't even know what Cartoon Network has anymore. Dude, I used to watch, like, the old school stuff on MTV, like Celebrity Deathmatch and some shit. But some of this stuff, man, passes me by. I mean, I've seen some Robot Chicken, but that's all that I've ever really seen. If you guys know anything about it, I mean, it looks kind of cool, the animation and everything. Probably kind of quirky. Not sure about it, but kind of looks cool. That's not bad. They have that. They also have more SpongeBob. Well, kind of a SpongeBob, but it looks more kiddie. Season 1, Value 1 of Camp Coral, SpongeBob's Under Years. Great. New to DVD for $12.99. Oh, so this is more for the little kiddies than anything else. Because, you know, if we haven't gotten them into SpongeBob yet, Oh, we're about to get them in very goddamn early, man. As early as we possibly can. Why the hell not, man? Make more money off of SpongeBob makes a lot of sense to me, man. It truly does. Huh. You know, it's kind of funny because I was at my work one day. This old lady comes up to me out of nowhere. I have really no idea why she even came up to me. And she tells me that she went grocery shopping with her young granddaughter. And she was looking at pineapples and she was like, oh, what about cutting up a pineapple? And the little girl's like, no, you can't cut up a pineapple. And she's like, why? He's like, because SpongeBob lives there. And I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I guess every pineapple is SpongeBob's house, apparently. All right, yeah, I get it. Little kids love SpongeBob. Young adults love SpongeBob. Old people love SpongeBob. Shit, man. This dude is very likable for many people. You either smoke weed while watching SpongeBob or have a good time with your little kids. Either way, SpongeBob has become eternal. And I thought I'd never say that, man. The dude's got game. He really does. Gotta give him a lot of credit for a sponge. He really knows how to squeeze up the love. If I want a badass babe by my side, Supergirl's a pretty good option. Not gonna lie, man. The 6th and final season of Supergirl for $26.99 on DVD. Oh, man. It's finally come to an end. Damn shame, dude. Damn shame indeed. I am actually still going through Supergirl on Netflix. I'm at, right now, like, season 2. Yeah, I'm taking my sweet ass time, guys. I really am. But I've enjoyed what I've seen. The first season was really great. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from the second season so far. And, you know, I haven't seen all the seasons yet, but I kind of read a little bit of reviews online about this final season, and a lot of people were really shitting on it. They didn't really like the ending. They thought it was kind of messy and that there was not much closure, a lot of open storylines. And that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, at least I know ahead of time, so I know what to expect. But Supergirl hasn't always had it easy, to be fair. I mean, not as a comic book character, and certainly not on the CW either. If you really think about it, she's always taken a back seat to Superman. I mean, she's a popular character, but she's never going to get the same type of love and appreciation as the Man of Steel will. Even on the Supergirl TV show, there was always everybody that was like, oh, hey, when is Superman going to show up? Come on, Superman, when is he going to make an appearance? And she could never really get out from under Superman's shadow, which is unfortunate because, again, she's a really great character with a lot of potential, but just never really achieved it because of Superman. And yet, despite all of that, all the shortcomings, the character has still been able to persevere even on the CW. I mean, think about this. I mean, yes, she's taking a backseat to Superman, but hell, she's taking a backseat to a lot of the CW shows like The Flash and DC Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, you name it, man. Hell, even when they started doing the Superman show, they were like, yeah, you can go now. It's been real. like they're like, now that we've got Superman, we don't need Supergirl anymore. And look, the character has never had the strongest rogue gallery of villains. She's never had the strongest comic book storylines. And there's been a lot of bumps in the road and warts on the TV show from what I know, and I've even experienced some of them already. But I still think the show is strong for what it is, and they've at least tried their best. Look, the character, unfortunately, is never going to get the type of love that a Superman does or a Flash does. The CW doesn't have the type of money and resources to put into this show what it really needs, unfortunately. But I still appreciate it. I still appreciate the character, and I'm hoping that for future iterations we can really see something dynamic for Supergirl, because she is a great character at the end of the day. I mean, shortcomings aside, she deserves a lot more love than sometimes she gets. You know what I'm saying? And at least this show lasted for 6 seasons. And you got to admit, after the first season, I don't think anybody thought it would last past that. So the fact that she got 5 other seasons, it's a testament to the actress, it's a testament to the writers, and it's a testament to the fact that they wanted to try to make the best show they possibly could. maybe not succeeding, but I definitely appreciate the effort. Not bad this week, not bad at all for the Supergirl love and for all of the physical media goodness this week. Man, it has been on fire for Target this week. It's pretty damn good, man. Not bad at all. Definitely digging it. Let's head out. Well, I do declare that Target done did it again. Indeed, I do, man. Oh, come on. That was pretty goddamn sweet, man. The TV love, exclusive love, all new release love, hell, even coming to America love. That is pretty goddamn sweet. Oh, Target definitely did their due diligence on physical media this week. You definitely have to appreciate that in a big bad way. And come on, I always do, man. But kind of interesting here at Target this week because I actually had a stalker. I had a creeper. Swear to God, guys. So here I am filming the video, and there is this guy that literally notices that I am filming, and he is circling me constantly. Circling me, staring at me, messing with me, turning on the stereo to try to jar me from filming. And he even, on one of the stereo systems, literally put on one of my videos to literally mess with me. And I went up to this guy, I said, what the hell is your problem? What's going on? Oh, I'm not doing anything, everything. And of course he did. I had to call Target security. It was a mess. It was a clusterfuck, dude. And this guy kept on going back and forth and back and forth and literally trying to mess me up with the video and screw me over. Dude, this guy was a creeper in a big bad way and a stalker. And I have never had that before in my life. Never did I. So this is the first time I've ever had that. That was really goddamn scary, dude. Really. And so I'm hoping that's the last time that ever happens, man. So that's why doing the video, I had to do a little bit here, a little bit there, because unfortunately he was like surrounding me constantly and always in my way and always messing with me. So I have never had that happen. In the years that I've been doing the video, that's never been an occurrence. This is the first time that it's ever happened, man, and that really got to me in a big bad way. I mean, I love showing off the physical media. I love coming here to Target. The employees are absolutely fantastic here, but when that happens, man, that can really get to you, and it did for me in a big bad way. Thankfully, nothing happened. I'm all safe and sound, but boy, that kind of creeped me out just a little bit. You never know what you're gonna encounter when you deal with the out and abouts, even weird stalker creeper types. Insanity. Insanity indeed, guys. But everything is good. Target is done. Physical media love was shown off. So how about we head to the next location and hopefully no creepers to be found. All right, everybody. We are at our third location, the second Walmart. I'm going to go in and check out if there's any interesting indie titles we're showing off. If there is, I'll bring back new Film Fan 108 HQ and show it off to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I got to talk about a trailer with you guys. And this is a movie that really intrigues me. And the trailer, man, just hooked me line and sinker, man. I am definitely wanting to watch this in a big bad way. Coming to Hulu this month, actually, and that is Deep Water. Oh, man, this looks good. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I originally heard about this movie, I thought it was actually supposed to be a shark movie. I did. I heard Deep Water, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's gotta be sharks. Boy, man, am I so wrong, man. Wow. And I'm kind of glad that I am. It looks like such an amazing erotic thriller. I mean, basically, what it seems from the trailer is that Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas are this couple, and she's kind of flaunting it all over the place. It seems like she might be sleeping with other people, and Ben Affleck is okay with this. You know, he's trying to deal with it the best he can, and one day there's something that happens, and he's caught in this game of cat and mouse, and did she really do this? Is he responsible for this? Is their relationship as complicated as it may seem? Who's playing who? Like, there's a lot of intriguing stuff with this movie, and it looks fucking amazing. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and I am digging every second of it. And what it reminds me of, it reminds me of Gone Girl, actually, which Affleck is also a part of, because you think the relationship is one thing, and then throughout the film it shifts and it changes and it turns into something else. I don't know whether this will be the same thing, but man, am I intrigued as a motherfucker. Like, seriously. And I think when they were filming this movie, Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas were a couple at this point. I know they've since broken up, but that's very intriguing, making a movie when you're a couple and about deceit and affairs and deception. Like, that's kind of intriguing and interesting to me. And Ana de Armas, my God, man, she is sexy as hell. I mean, she really is. I mean, she was awesome in Knives Out. She was great in her little role in No Time to Die. I loved her in that. She was one of the highlights of the film in a big bad way. And here, she is so seductive and sexy and disarming, and you know, you look at her and you're immediately intrigued by her. You want to know more about her. You want to spend the night with her and just have this night of carnal lust. I mean, I can see why men would be so attracted to her, and her web of lies and deceit just wrap you in, man. It's so intriguing to me and so fascinating. And it's directed by Adrian Lyne, which intrigues me even more because he ended up directing Indecent Proposal, Fatal Attraction. I think he directed 9.5 Weeks as well, plus a bunch of other stuff. He's a really great, accomplished director. He knows how to do a very great, erotic, sexy, mysterious thriller. He's really good at it. And so this is right up his alley. Really great actors. They look like they have phenomenal chemistry with one another. And I'm up for it. I like these type of movies. Movies like Basic Instinct, Fatal Attraction, Swim Fan. I mean, these are movies that I easily gravitate to. So this is an absolute watch for me. No doubt about it. My girlfriend has Hulu. And if whether she wants to watch it with me or not, I'm taking her Hulu password and I'm watching the damn thing. It looks so great to me, and I just am ready for the twists and the turns and, you know, the moments you don't see coming, because like I said, the trailer really makes her out to be the one that's initiating all of this. She's the one that's being the seductress. She is the one that's pulling you in and messing with your mind. But anything could happen. You never know, man. And I love these type of movies, man. It really does. And a really good movie like this can really suck you in and really just take you for a great ride. And this looks like one of them. It really does, man. Consider me hyped for this movie in a big bad way. I'm really on board. And I just love the fact that Ben Affleck is doing some really great and interesting movies nowadays. Stuff that I think is really unique for him. Movies like this and The Last Duel, Tender Bar. He's become a really great actor who is not picking the most obvious projects. He's picking a lot of intriguing stuff that really challenges him as an actor. And this is definitely one of them, man. It looks fucking phenomenal. Consider me heavily on board with this thing. I wonder what you guys think. Are you on board with this? Are you interested? Do you think it'll be predictable, or do you think it'll be some interesting twists and turns that you don't see coming? Definitely let me know, man. And honestly, if I was Ben Affleck, yeah, I'd put up with Ana de Armas too. Indeed I would, man. Oh boy, would I. I love my girlfriend though. I had to say that. I had to, man. Oh, have to cover my ass. Anyways, guys, it looks really intriguing, but I'm curious about what the second Walmart has in store. How about we go in and check it out? All right, everybody, we are in at the second Walmart, and it has been a good week for that physical media love. You have definitely got to appreciate that, baby. So here I am at the second Walmart thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. Well, if it's been good everywhere else, well, it's gotta be good here, right? We've got to have some indie weirdness. Come on, don't leave me hanging, baby. And honestly, They didn't disappoint. Oh, thank the Lord they didn't. Okay, it's not incredibly plentiful, all things considered, just a little bit. But a little bit of weirdness definitely goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? And they honestly did restock a little bit. They were empty before, but they are restocked now. And with a little bit of that indie love, oh, yes, please. So you know what that means, baby. That means we are going back to Film Fan 108 HQ, where you, Seth, yes, you, get a show of all that physical media love, all the goodness. Come on. With the weirdness, you gotta be expecting to step up to the plate, right? Oh, what are you doing?
I'm giving you a choice.
Oh, this will be interesting. So, what are my options?
You take the blue pill, and you wake up in your bed and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, and I show you all the physical media wonders and just how far the rabbit hole goes. Which one will you choose?
Wait a minute. Are those jelly beans?
And your point is?
I take the blue pill just to forget this goddamn conversation ever happened. Just show off the physical media, please. I don't care what pill I have to take. Just show the damn shit off, will ya?
You're a loss, bro.
Man. And here I thought that you were the one. Maybe I was setting my sights too high. Maybe. The search for the ever-loving one continues. It's a search that goes on forever. Kind of like the physical media love, don't it? Oh, it kind of does. And I love the search for it. Oh, indeed I do. All that physical media love. It's a never-ending battle that I absolutely love to do, baby. Indeed it is, and I know you guys do. Reality versus the physical media world. Come on, which one do you think I'm picking, damn it? Come on, man. And this week proves that the physical media can be quite plentiful when you go searching for it. And oh, indeed it has been. So here I am thinking indie love is on the table this week. And, well, you'd be right. Let's dive into a little Walmart weirdness, shall we? Oh, let's do it indeed, baby. Oh, I'm dying to find out. Let's do it. With the first title being Stoker Hills. Oh, look at that. Now that is a cool cover. That cover definitely intrigues you. Oh, I'm liking that, man. Follow at your own risk. Oh, you don't say. Evil lurks in the shadows. In the secluded town of Stoker Hills, 3 college students find themselves in their worst nightmare when they set out to film a horror movie and are kidnapped by a serial killer. Oh, shit. Their only hope for survival is the camera they left behind and the 2 detectives looking for clues in the footage. Oh, shit. That's Tony Todd, isn't it? Tony motherfucking Todd. Yes. This instantly got 100 times more cooler, man. Because of motherfucking Tony Todd, dude. Tony is awesome. I mean, come on, Candyman, Final Destination, he's the shit. And I've actually met him at a horror convention, and that guy is one of the nicest dudes ever. Truly, he is one of a kind. Great, great dude to talk to, man. Has a ton of stories. A really great pleasure to chat with, man. But, I mean, if he's in it, it instantly makes it a little bit cooler. And I like the fact that it's a slasher with college students in it, because it's kind of interesting. A lot of slashers that I find are like teenager slashers. Not many college ones you really come across from time to time. There is some out there. There definitely is. Ones that I definitely appreciate. Ones that I definitely love quite a bit, man. When ones that are well worth the time. Like, for instance, if you are a Jamie Lee Curtis fan, of course you have to be a fan of this one. No doubt you have to be. And that is none other than On a Terror Train. Oh, Terror Train. Oh my God, do I fucking love Terror Train, man. This is a great movie, and it was such a great era for Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, the Scream Queen era. She was doing so many great horror films, and Terror Train is absolutely one of them. Might not be as iconic as Halloween, but damn is it fun, entertaining, a great killer. I love the motivation, and I love it being on a train with these college students and them dying one by one. The boys and girls of Sigma Phi, some will live, some will die. Oh, so good, man. And how many horror films really have David Copperfield in them? Not many. This is one of the only ones that get to say it. And he's actually pretty damn good in it, too. Love this flick. Very cool. I definitely dig me some Terror Train love. I also really dig me, this one I definitely love. And that is none other than The House on Sorority Row. Oh, so good. Nothing can prepare you for what happens when she fights back. Oh, I love this movie so much. This is a really great college campus slasher as well. I really love this movie so much. Actually, the first time I watched it, I didn't know what to expect, but I really love the chicks in there, the different personalities, the killer. I love the end sequence here. It's kind of a surprise for me, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good, man. Very well done. I definitely dig that one in a big bad way. I also dig, this one is really cool too. Love this one almost just as equally, and that is Sorority House Massacre. Who will survive the final exam? Ain't nobody gonna survive that shit. I love this one. This is another really fun and entertaining flick. So good, man. Really entertaining. Well done. Cheesy, but yeah, I like my cheese. I definitely do, man. That is an awesome one. And of course, I gotta talk about one of the best ones. Weird, but love it. And that is Pieces. Oh, I love Pieces. It's exactly what you think it is. No doubt, man. This is so effing good, man. It's weird character actors, and the deaths are insane and bloody and ridiculous, but I so fucking love it, man. And I love the story and the red herrings. It's really fucking good, man. This is a really solid college slasher flick as well. Definitely enjoy that one, man. I mean, yes, there's the ridiculous. Yes, there's the more classy, but regardless of what you might think, I mean, come on. A college slasher is pretty damn cool from time to time. And I think I just proved it. I think I did indeed. So, what does Stoker Hills have for us? Is this movie going to eventually become a college slasher classic, or will it try to ape off of the better ones, but not do it half as good? I don't know, man. I've been hearing a couple of rumors that this is really good, and I'm kind of intrigued to check it out. I really am, man. I love a good slasher flick. I am a horror fan through and through, but I love my slashers, man. I mean, come on. Jason, Freddy, Michael, Chucky. I mean, those are the classics, but there's a lot of really great slashers out there. More unknown ones, more obscure ones, out-of-the-way ones, gems out there that not a lot of people have really dived into. I mean, there's so much great slasher material out there. And yes, everything has been done to a certain extent or two, but if you put a unique spin on it, with creative kills, you can still make something really damn solid. I'm actually really excited to check this thing out at some point. I've heard good things. I love college campus slashers, and this one, with the cover and Tony Todd involved, this could definitely be right up my alley. This year, Easter's gonna be a little naughty. With Easter Bunny Massacre. Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh, look at that cover. That's great. Holy shit. This year, there won't be a Good Friday. Oh, don't make me any promises you can't keep, damn it. Oh man. Oh, that is great. Holy shit. Whoa. Wow, man. Jeez. That's some roadkill I definitely wouldn't need. Holy fuck. A night of wild partying to celebrate the end of high school turns deadly when one of the classmates is murdered. Oh shit.
with no one having a clue who killed her, not wanting to destroy their own lives, they bury her body and tell everyone that she simply ran away. Yeah, 'cause that's a great excuse. A year later, the remaining friends are mysteriously invited to an Easter celebration. They arrive, believing that the mystery that has been haunting them for the past year will finally be answered. Unfortunately, they're dead wrong. Oh, man. Oh, geez. And where the fuck does the Easter Bunny come in with all this exactly? I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, man. Taking a holiday and twisting it into a horror flick. Yeah, so we've seen that a time or two, haven't we? Like April Fool's Day. Yes. Oh, I love this movie, man. Oh, man. Taking the premise of April Fool's and turning it into a slasher flick, that is pretty damn clever, man. I love this flick. Great misdirections, and the ending you don't see coming. Love this flick so much. Very, very fun on that one. Of course, I gotta talk about little Black Christmas love. Oh, man, is this great. The original Black Christmas. Forget the remakes and the reboots. This is the OG you should definitely be invested in. That's for damn sure, man. I love this flick. It's creepy, it's atmospheric, great characters and dialogue and mystery. Love it so much, man. So damn good. Taking a Christmas holiday and turning it evil. This Jew definitely approves. I definitely do. I love that one so goddamn much. Oh, of course, I can't forget to talk about a little My Bloody Valentine love. Oh, this is great. Oh, man. Taking Valentine's Day and turning it into a miner's nightmare. I definitely love this. I love the iconic miner costume. I love the characters being in the underground mining facility. It's dark, it's dank, it's creepy. There's so many great opportunities for great scares in there. I love the mystery of who's the real killer. I think this is bloody brilliant. Frickin' love this movie so much. Man, that is absolutely classic. And there's other ones out there. Obviously, there's Halloween, which is a classic. I mean, there's even lesser ones out there like Trick or Treats, which is really cool. I definitely dig that one a lot. Of course, little Jack Frost nipping at your nose. More like biting your nose. Definitely does. There's some really cool holiday killer movies out there. There definitely is. And definitely worthy ones out there to dive into. That is for damn sure. I'm not quite sure whether Easter Bunny Massacre is going to apply to that trend, but hey, have at it, man. I mean, even the Leprechaun franchise, right? St. Patty's Day, of course. I mean, if there's any holiday, you should probably try to ape off of it to a certain degree, man. Why the hell not, dude? And sure, why the hell not with Easter? There's actually been a little bit more like love for Easter holiday horror. There was a horror anthology not too long back, I forget the name of it actually, that actually had one of the stories in the anthology be about the Easter Bunny, and it was actually kind of creepy and really cool. And I'm like thinking, okay, man, you could do some really cool things with Easter. You just kind of got to be clever with it. Not sure about this one, though. I'm not going to lie, man. Oh, I mean, geez, they bury their friend, then say she ran away, and then years later, well, guess what? The Easter Bunny is coming for the revenge. What did the Easter Bunny do in the first place? It's kind of weird. It's kind of like they're shoehorning it in, kind of, with this. I mean, they kind of do the whole Easter celebration thing to kind of bring in the holiday, but I don't really know how it sort of brings in with the whole thing that they did in the past. What the hell? Yeah, I kind of felt like they kind of just crammed it in there for the sake of calling it a holiday thing, which is fair enough. I mean, hey, if it works, it works. I'll give them credit, but I don't know about this one, man. Let's just put it this way. There are so many holiday Christian
events that have been turned into horror films. And me being Jewish, I've actually avoided most of those holiday horror spectaculars. They just leave us Jews alone for some reason. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of thankful for it. The spin-off Love is back with World Beyond final season. Wow. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Isn't this the second season? Shit, it's already the final season? Damn, man. Geez, that's saying a lot. Holy fuck. Oh my god. Fresh and interesting? Well, that's like your opinion, man. I mean, look, I haven't watched any of World Beyond, and truth be told, I haven't really watched any of The Walking Dead since probably the 7th or 8th season. I kind of walked away after a while because it was kind of getting mundane and not as interesting. And I know everybody has told me, hey, The Walking Dead got much better, and it's really kicking all kinds of ass. And when it ends, I definitely will go back and check it all out. That's what I'm definitely going to try to do. But did we really need the spin-offs? And that's really the question here, because Fear the Walking Dead, a lot of people have said Fear the Walking Dead has gotten a hell of a lot better. It's gotten absolutely amazing. But I remember when I was first watching Fear the Walking Dead, and I watched like the first 6, 7, 8 episodes, and I was like, this is kind of boring to me. It's not really going anywhere, and I'm not really feeling the characters, and I didn't stick around. And, well, maybe that's a regret. Well, I'll have to go back eventually and watch it, but doing yet another spin-off, though, I'm not entirely positive on that one, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not like a franchise can't do good spin-offs. They can. Stargate, for instance, has proven that with Atlantis. Star Trek, of course. Star Wars. Many other ones. They've proven it. But that's science fiction. That's in space. And there's so many extra possibilities. This is a little bit more limited. And the law of diminishing returns starts to happen, and The World Beyond is one of those examples. Now, I have read a lot of reviews online, seen a lot of videos, and the consensus is pretty much the same, that this is kind of a useless spin-off, kind of a bore fest. The characters are kind of frustrating and mundane and not very memorable, and it just kind of felt like it's really unneeded and stupid and not really worth your time. Now, I did hear that towards the end of this season, it starts to get really good. Like, they tie in more to the regular Walking Dead world and bring in other Walking Dead characters. And it starts to get a little more intriguing, especially the end of the series where there's this really great sort of cap to it that is like, oh shit, okay. And it kind of overall mythology really comes into it, but that's towards the end. Yes, it's kind of cool, but what about the whole thing overall? And the consensus has been the same, which is, yeah, not all that great. And I think the problem is the fact that it's basically teen drama wrapped into a zombie tale. And that's not that you can't do something cool with that. You can, but the problem is characters making stupid decisions, thinking they're know-it-alls, and going into the zombie world, and then you're like, oh, of course, you're a fucking idiot. You think you know the world, you think you're mature enough, and then you're just in a world of fucking trouble and craziness, and now you're just completely fucked. And I just hate that, man. I hate the fact that there's these stupid teens that do stupid decisions and immature, and you're like, dude, we're living in a world of fucking zombies, for Christ's sake. Are you really gonna start this crap? I mean, come on. It's just asinine to me. It really honestly is. And from everything that I've read and saw, everybody pretty much agrees with the same thing on this. It is a real shame, but I'm not entirely surprised. I mean, the problem is that with The Walking Dead being as popular as it is, money talks, bullshit walks, and at the end of the day, if there's more money to be made from The Walking Dead, they are going to literally wring it like blood from a stone. And it literally is the truth, man. I mean, I heard that they're going to be doing another spin-off with Negan and Maggie called Isle of the Dead. Really? I mean, maybe it might be good, and I don't want to trash it before actually seeing the damn thing, but another spin-off on top of 2 other spin-offs, I just feel like it's overload at this point. And at a certain point in any sort of TV franchise, it starts to run its course, doesn't it? I mean, even with Star Trek, like, after a while, it kind of was like, yeah, okay, it's not really that great. And now Star Trek is, in some ways, even though I still like it, it's kind of become a shell of itself. You can say the same thing for Stargate. I mean, yes, I love Stargate SG-1, love Atlantis, but Universe was kind of a wet noodle. Even Star Wars at times is kind of getting that way now as well. And I think it's hard to maintain the integrity of a series when you're just doing so many iterations and spin-offs, and you're weakening the product at the end of the day. And sometimes you're able to resurrect it really well, and sometimes you're just going down the rabbit hole of really lousy iterations. And I've heard World Beyond is kind of that way. A shame, because it's an interesting idea, being in the future of the actual zombie apocalypse and new characters and reinvesting in them and the future. But I don't think it was done really well. I don't think the characters were really that well drawn, and unfortunately, it gets interesting too little too late. Shame, but who didn't see that one coming? I used to love The Walking Dead. I used to love The Walking Dead with all my heart. I really did. But at the end of the day, you gotta be honest and say that, honestly, nothing really beats the original. As hard as you try, as much as you really go out of your way to make something just as good, sometimes one and done ain't half bad. We'll see where Walking Dead goes in the future, but right now, yeah, maybe they should lay it to rest. So, who ordered the Bruce Willis special? Anybody? Yeah, we might want to bring it back because it's kind of underdone. Maybe our money back? Yeah, we're probably asking for too much. With American Siege, no one walks away. Well, when it comes to this film, they better start walking. Oh, shit. Because, honestly, if you don't start walking now, you're gonna regret it. Fuck, man. Look, I watched this goddamn thing. I did. I watched it. Ain't no lie. I keep on punishing myself. Why? Why? God damn it. Look, man, I know at this point, any fucking Bruce Willis movie I watch nowadays, I know that I'm just walking into a fucking disaster. I know it. Jesus Christ. I'm almost expecting it at this point, right? It's just inevitable. It's like death and taxes. You know exactly that. Oh, I'm gonna walk into a new Bruce Willis film? Shit. God damn it, man. Fuck my life. When 3 outlaws take a prominent town doctor hostage in search of a missing woman, washed up Sheriff Watts... Fuck, Bruce Willis is the sheriff? Man, no wonder this town's fucked. Jesus. Is called in to handle the situation before the FBI arrives. When the sheriff realizes he may be a pawn in a larger scheme, he must carve a bloody warpath to expose the truth behind the town's dark secrets. Oh my god, we're actually depending on Bruce Willis to do that shit? Oh man, this movie's asking way too much. Son of a bitch. Okay, look, I'm not gonna lie, man. I went in with literally zero confidence in this movie, man. Literally not a goddamn thing. And it still was bad, don't get me wrong, but Bruce Willis might actually be one of the better things about this flick. And damn, that is really saying something. Because he ain't really even that good in the movie. He's still kind of mundane Bruce Willis, kind of on autopilot. He's kind of like, yeah, there's a plot that's going on in the town.
And I gotta stop it. I am the sheriff after all.
Oh my god. Can somebody call Andy Griffith or some shit? Man, I'll take that motherfucker over Bruce Willis any day of the week. I mean, but I gotta admit that he's not as bad as some of the other people here. The three outlaws that kidnapped the doctor, they say they're outlaws. That's being kinda nice because they're actually rednecks. I mean, they really are. They are rednecks from top to bottom, to the way they talk, to the way they dress and look. They are absolutely rednecks. In fact, I would almost kind of argue that they're basically give rednecks a bad name. I mean, Jeff Foxworthy would be like, bro, come on, man. Like, seriously, it is really an insult in a big bad way, dude. I'm like, shit. And it's supposed to be this whole thing of this sister who was the girlfriend of this guy that just got out of prison. She's been missing for a long time, presumed dead, and they want to know what happened to her, what's going on, and all the secrets behind with the doctor, and what did he do to manipulate her, and suddenly, like, less than 24 hours, this guy is out of prison. Suddenly, he's with the brother, and he's with the sister, and they're gonna go and kidnap the doctor and expose the truth and everything like that. And so literally, it's a hostage situation gone already bad and already fucked up. And it's basically Timothy Murphy here that basically is like the overseer of the town, the corrupt guy, almost like a Falcone from like Gotham, but like, less effective. And it's basically like, oh, okay, well, he has all these secrets and all the exposing of it, but honestly, you kind of see it coming a mile away. I mean, the doctor is like, well, I'm only a pawn in this, and this other guy is basically so much more powerful than me, and you kind of know that this guy is the mastermind of it all. You know that he's going to be taken down eventually. You know that Bruce Willis is going to play a part in it. It's all predictable. It's all mundane. It's not really all that exciting. It's kind of a piece of hot garbage, man. Shit, it is. I mean, when you think about negotiating flicks, right? Negotiator stuff, like The Negotiator with Samuel L. Jackson. Really good flick, right? Some pretty cool stuff. There's also been some really other great ones in the past that are really awesome as far as negotiating. Tense, on the edge of your seat. You want to know what's going on. This is not that, man. You know where everything is going. There is no tense moments. It's almost like it's amateur hour from top to bottom with the actors and the action and the thrills and the mystery. There is no fucking mystery, man. You know where everything is going. It's just complete predictability, and it's not exciting. Even the action, man. The action feels like kind of like been there, done that. Oh, they blow up a car. Hey, isn't it cool that we blew up a car? Wow, that was only one car. Wow. I mean, even when they're having a shootout, basically it's all really close up, so they don't really show off the ground battle and where everybody is and the dynamic of a gunfight. It's more of like you see the aftermath of it. You're like, oh, I'm bleeding. Fuck. What happened? Like, it's just staged really terrible, and it's not dynamic whatsoever. I don't know, man. I gave it a chance because, well, honestly, I don't know why I gave it a chance, man. I should have known better. But to be honest with you, it just kind of goes through the motions. The actors are going through the motions. They're trying to play their best, like, redneck hostage takers. And to be fair, they do a pretty good job of being a redneck. I mean, maybe a little over rednecky, but, at least they're committing. I mean, it's not all that really wonderful. And some characters, they're gonna die. Some characters, they're gonna live. Bruce Willis is gonna save the motherfucking day. It's just going through the motions and paint by numbers, and that's it. it's not the worst Bruce Willis film that I've seen as of late. I mean, trust me, I've seen a hell of a lot of worse ones, but then again, it ain't exactly lighting the world on fire either. It's just kind of mundane at the end of the day, and honestly, did you expect anything better? Bruce Willis is in this film. Seriously, if you did, damn, you are overreaching like a motherfucker. Seriously, you really are, man. It's just alright for what it is. Some characters are completely useless. Some characters sort of make an interesting impact, and others, I could really fucking care less, man. Honestly, this one is just kind of a dud. Are you really all that surprised? Come on, man. Ah, God. Another mundane Bruce Willis movie. Oh, boy, he's just really hitting them out of the park. Way to go, Bruce. Keep getting that paycheck. Oh, man. I miss the glory days. I really do, man. Oh, but that being said, hey, there is still a little glory in all this physical media weirdness, right? Jeez, I hope so. Because if not, God help us all. Well, if I went missing, I would definitely want Tony Todd to come after me, too. I can't believe this. Look what they did. They massacred a holiday Christian icon for kiddies. This Jew wholeheartedly approves. You know, teen drama and zombies, yeah, they just don't mix. And honestly, Bruce Willis would probably be good when negotiating a hostage situation. You put on enough of his newer movies, they'll want to give up. Oh, indeed they will. Oh my God, the indie goodness, at least that's what they say, is back again in a big bad way. Oh, indeed it is, man. Quite unique titles this time around. And any physical media love, you know it, baby, is always good physical media love to check out. Good, bad, Walmart ugly, it doesn't matter, because physical media is always worth it regardless, man. I love showing any and all of it off. And this week proves that the variety is definitely on display in a big bad way. But we got one more location to go to, so how about we go and check out more physical media madness. Alright, everybody, we are at our fourth and final location, and when it comes to physical media goodness, you have to have the wide spectrum. You have to go to all the places. And if that includes experiencing a little beast love, then so be it. And you know I'm definitely down for that. So you know where we are, baby. We are at none other than Best Buy the Beast. Best Buy, baby. Oh, yes, back. And hopefully better than ever. Physical media is definitely back in a big bad way this week. So much releases to show off. And a lot of places having a lot of great variety. What about Best Buy? Will we get all the goodness, exclusive, steelbook love, and everything in between? Let's hope. How about we go in and find out? Return to the source. Oh, yes, and we are returning to Best Buy, baby, under the new releases. And we're already seeing the new release goodness and the love. So how about we dive in with the Blu-ray DVD digital, The Matrix Resurrections for $24.99, the 4K Blu-ray digital for $29.99, and oh, yes, return to a little steelbook love. The only at Best Buy exclusive steelbook 4K Blu-ray digital for $34.99. Oh, look at this. I gotta admit, this is pretty sweet, and I do love this steelbook a lot. It looks pretty freaking awesome with all of the Matrix code going down. God, you know what this reminds me of? There used to be a Matrix box set, this DVD box set, where it was housed in this case that was all like the Matrix code. It was so fucking cool, man. This sort of reminds me of that. Oh, it's so awesome, dude. Nice steelbook, actually. Not bad at all. And on the inside, that's what it looks like. And on the back as well. That's pretty damn sweet. That's pretty fucking cool, man. For all you Matrix lovers out there. I just wish the movie was fucking better. Oh, man. Dude, seriously, no one, and I mean no one, was really wanting another Matrix movie. Who was out there really championing another Matrix film? Nobody. I mean, seriously, nobody was, man. After Matrix Revolutions everyone was like, okay, it's done, it deserves to be over, that's it, no more left, let's call it quits, man. And that's what I thought until Matrix Resurrections came knocking on the door, and not in the good way that I was hoping. It tends to become another case of sequelitis, an unwanted case of sequelitis, I would say, and honestly, Matrix is not alone in that. I'm serious, there are certain franchises that just need to end, man. I mean, seriously, we gotta let sleeping dogs lie at a certain point, but money talks, bullshit walks, and we keep making this stuff thinking that we're going to get the same result as the previous times, and we're just not anymore, man. I mean, yes, it's cool to see the old images and the outfits and the scenarios, but it's not done half as good, and it lacks the passion of the earlier films. I mean, look at something like Indiana Jones. I mean, yes, it's nice to see him wearing the hat and carrying the whip and the clothing and fighting the Nazis. Yeah, it's great, but man, he's too old for this shit. I mean, he really is. And trying to carry on, it lacks the same sort of sensational adventure that you got in the previous films. That's one example, but there's many of them out there, man. Even the Fast and the Furious. I mean, think about it. We're making the same film over and over and over again, and it's now really catching up to itself, where it's just a pale comparison to the earlier films, and it's a shell of itself, and it should have ended like 2 films ago. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things where we can't walk away. Studios can't walk away. And I feel like we're just entering into a world of sequels constantly, and sequels of diminishing returns. And it's happened so often with so many other films, whether it's, Bill and Ted 3, or whether it's obviously Candyman. Was anybody really wanting another Candyman movie? No, but it's a known property, so might as well get it out there. It's the same thing with Harry Potter. We're making more Fantastic Beasts movies, even though everyone pretty much admits they're not the same as the earlier films. But because it's a property, we keep on regurgitating the same shit constantly, man. And I've often said about originality, but I don't mind a sequel as long as we know when the shelf life is. I mean, think about with Alien franchise, for instance. I mean, we keep making the same Alien film over and over and over again. And when are we going to finally stop with this shit? I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why I like Prometheus, I think, as much as I did, was that it was something unique and different and outside the box, not your normal Alien film. But then again, a lot of people got pissed off because, it doesn't feel like an Alien film. And so then, of course, they made Alien Covenant that felt more of the same, but people didn't want that. Originality is tough to come by. I don't mind if you do sequels, but it's got to be the right circumstance and the right reason. You have to be passionate about it. Literally, Warner Brothers was going to make this film regardless, man. And so Lana Wachowski came in and she had an idea, but her idea was basically regurgitating the same shit and just making a straight up nostalgia trip and trying to pretend that that's something new and unique and bringing in the meta aspect. But again, you're like 20 years or 30 years too late for that shit. And the nostalgia trip, it's been done by so many other movies and been done better. I mean, as much as I'm not a big fan of Ghostbusters Afterlife, I think they did the nostalgia at least a little bit better than this film did. I mean, it just doesn't have anything new or interesting to offer. The actors feel like they're just going through the motions, and even the new actors that are in here just feel like caricatures of older, better characters that did a way better job at their roles. It's a damn shame, man. And I think at this point, I hope it's over, man. I mean, this movie didn't make a lot of money at the box office. It didn't get a lot of hype. The reviews were god-awful. And Lana Wachowski has even said there's really no more Matrix films that she's going to do or anybody else is, but never say never. I mean, look, this series can print money. You can make video games out of it, which might be cooler to do. comic book adaptations, animation. I mean, there are ways to keep on going with the Matrix franchise that I think could be better in more creative hands. Put it in another person's hands and see where the creativity goes. Let's see where that works out. I just kind of feel like at this point, the Wachowskis said what they wanted to say with the first 3 films, and there's just nothing left for them to really bring to the franchise. There's nothing left for Keanu or Carrie Ann, and it just feels like we're just spinning our wheels at this point. Franchises can continue, but as long as you put new spins and unique ideas into it, then it might be worth it. But if we're spinning in the same direction constantly and being like, oh, well, you know, the Matrix deja vu, I'd be like, I'm done, dude. I'm over it. And I can't go back anymore, man. I really can't. And I just need something new. I need a breath of fresh air in a sequel that's really going to make me feel excited again. I didn't get it with the Resident Evil franchise. I didn't get it for the longest time with Underworld. And I feel like there's not many reasons anymore for these sequels to exist other than they're properties that make the money. That's really what it's about at the end of the day. Why are we making more movies with Michael Myers when it's the same film literally over and over and over again? He's a horror icon that makes money. Why are we doing more Fast and Furious movies? Because they make money. I mean, literally, more Ghostbusters because we can't leave money on the table. I mean, at least with this movie, there was somewhat of, at least kind of original ideas with some of the younger crew that makes it somewhat worth it. But I can't say the same for this movie, man. Look, at the end of the day, we either need to reinvigorate these franchises or just let them go. We need to create new things. And that's what was so exciting about the original Matrix, is that it really blew everybody away. It was something new that nobody had seen. And now it's been parodied to death. It's been seen so many times. And you know where everything is heading, and to think that so long ago a movie like The Matrix was praised and now it's literally the laughingstock. How far The Matrix has truly fallen. Can it ever get back up? Maybe, but only in time if we let the franchise just go. Just be remembered as something really great instead of making more movies where we get diminishing returns. You know what I'm saying? Well, I hope you do, because if not, we're gonna get the same shit over and over and fucking over again. Like, what am I talking about? We still get that shit. The Matrix is just yet another example of a useless sequel that didn't need to be made. You listening, Warner Brothers? You probably aren't. You're gonna make the same shit over and over again. And yes, I'm gonna watch it, but I will trash it. And The Matrix Resurrections is a prime example of a movie that just didn't need to be made. Take the blue pill, go back to your mundane job, and try not to be a superhero anymore, Keanu. Just be John Wick. We're just happy with you kicking ass as John Wick. You don't need to do any superhero moves, any karate chops. Just be that badass motherfucker and leave Neo in the past. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys do indeed. I mean, it's a great steelbook. I definitely dig it, but I just wish it was for a better movie and it would have capped off the franchise in a fantastic way. But unfortunately, that ain't happening anytime soon. That is for damn sure. Well, maybe in the future, but let's hope that they learned their lessons. But I highly doubt it. Oh, I do indeed, man. But hey, some cool exclusive love, and you definitely got to dig it. And hopefully more new releases to check out. And indeed, the new releases are still flowing with little Yellowstone love. The Blu-ray of Yellowstone Season 4 for $24.99. And of course, they still have those Yellowstone Blu-rays with the exclusive slippies as well, each for $29.99. So if you haven't caught up with Season 4 yet, and you're looking for a little more Yellowstone love, Best Buy definitely has your fix, baby. Indeed, they do. Oh, yes, man. But let's dive into a little Season 4 a little bit more. Now, my worry about Yellowstone is the fact that maybe they're gonna exploit it a little too much. And this is what happens when TV shows get really popular. And I seriously mean that, man, because it's happened to The Walking Dead, it happened to Stargate, and it's happened to many other franchises out there. A lot of the CW stuff you could say as well with all the spin-offs, is that after a certain while, the law of diminishing returns happens very, very much. I know they're doing a prequel, something about in the 1880s, how the Duttons actually made their money and everything. Okay, fine, but do you really need that prequel? Do you really need to see how the Duttons made all their cash? You kind of know already. Sure, maybe there's a little bit of extra drama to squeeze out of it, but honestly, is it just there to be there because Yellowstone is successful, so why not make a prequel out of it? I mean, that's just one. I'm sure we're going to get other spin-offs and you name it, because when something is successful, a studio can't just let something lie, right? I mean, if it's so successful, they need to keep it going like a motherfucker, man. It's the same thing if you remember with Lost, right? The creators wanted to end Lost at a certain point, and the studio was like, oh my god, do you realize how tough it is to have a TV show that's really successful and makes a lot of money in the ratings? They wanted to keep it going for like 10 or 12 seasons, and they're like, no, dude, we can't do that. I mean, Yellowstone is a little bit different. There's not the type of, like, crazy, mysterious island shit. But at the same time, though, I'm not gonna lie, there is a part of me that's like, how long do we deal with this until we're doing, like, some sort of, like, you know, who shot JR, mysterious Dallas shit? I mean, maybe we've already done it in Yellowstone, and we're going to be doing it over and over again, and the stakes just have to get so incredibly heightened, so incredibly ridiculous, that at a certain point, audiences are like, oh, come on, seriously? I wouldn't have even survived that shit. I mean, Kevin Costner is pretty fucking awesome, but what? I mean, that's just what's going to happen at a certain point, man. We're doing the prequels, there's going to be more spin-offs. I guarantee you they're going to milk this for as long as they possibly can. I mean, it's good now. Remember the good times, because it's going to spin off and it's going to not always be as good as it used to be. It's happened with many things. It's happened with Sex and the City. It's happened with The Sopranos. It's happened with Law and Order. I mean, you name it. I hope that Yellowstone keeps its integrity. I hope that the creators are able to say, okay, when enough is enough, we're done, we're walking away. But something so popular, it's hard to do that. And you squeeze every little blood from a stone possible. I'm hoping it is. It's good now, and people are really digging it, but that only lasts forever. Take advantage of it while you can, but know when to walk away, because sometimes making more of it is sometimes too much. Just saying, man. Just saying indeed. I mean, you do get some great special features, though. Find the stories from the bunkhouse, opening Pandora's box, inside Yellowstone. I mean, there are some really good special features here, and I definitely do gotta dive into this, but unfortunately, good dramas only come around for so long, and at a certain point, they do run out of steam. Look at Grey's Anatomy. It's still going to this day, man. I mean, how many times does the hospital really have to be in danger? I mean, at a certain point, you are running out of ideas. You are sort of spinning your wheels. Yellowstone isn't there yet, but at some point it will be. And when it does, remember the good times. Because when a TV show gets bad, it really gets bad. Let's hope Yellowstone never gets there, but easier said than done, man. Easier said than done, indeed. You got that, and you even got back in a little bit of Catwoman Hunted Love, that 4K steelbook that I really dig, man. That is a really great steelbook. Dig that one, indeed. The Juice 4K, and how we've even moved Pirates of the Caribbean to the bottom of the pile, finally. I think they're kind of learning their lesson that this shit ain't selling. Apparently so, man. Probably best to bring it back, because ain't no one buying that shit, man. Some interesting releases so far. A little bit here, a little bit there. Let's see if there's anything else to behold. And indeed there is. I mean, okay, it is looking a little sparse, though. Okay, a little bit here, a little bit there. That doesn't mean that you can't find a little bit of physical media love. You just gotta go a-looking. And that is none other than the Blu-ray digital of Supergirl, the 6th and final season for $24.99. Melissa Benoist, you know, it's been a good run. I give her a lot of credit. She was a great Supergirl, all things considered. I mean, I haven't finished watching all of Supergirl yet, but I'm slowly making my way. But she's been great. The stuff I've watched, she really has been awesome, and she's taken the role and she's spun it as her own, and I really appreciate that, man. I mean, I will in some ways always consider her second because of Helen Slater. Oh my god, I love Helen Slater from that original Supergirl movie. I think that was from, what, the 84, 85, somewhere around there? Oh my god, that was so fucking good. Cheesy as shit. I mean, her and Faye Dunaway were fighting over a guy, for Christ's sake. I mean, seriously, it's not about saving the world. You just sometimes want a little bit of D. I mean, come on, man. But I really do love Helen Slater, and I thought she was so awesome in the role. But Melissa Benoist really has taken it and brought it into modern day in the best way possible, and she's been awesome to the fans and the fan base and to the DC lovers. I definitely am going to miss her as Supergirl in a big bad way. I really am, man. And I don't think we'll see the last of Supergirl. I think we'll see other iterations. I think that there's rumors out there that Warner Brothers and DC might do a Supergirl movie. Maybe. If they do, they have big shoes to fill, because she was really amazing. I would have loved to see her be in a movie. I would have loved to see her take the Supergirl persona even further, but it's so tough because she always plays second fiddle to Superman, like I said earlier, and it's tough to have her be in the spotlight. I think one day they will make a movie and it'll be a great adaptation, but in due time. But for the most part, cherish Melissa Benoist because she really was one of the best. No doubt about that, man. She will absolutely be missed. Maybe the show wasn't quite as good as everybody had hoped. A lot of misfires, but she was definitely the heart and soul of the show, and she really made it worthwhile. You got to give her a lot of credit for that, man. I mean, you do get a farewell tribute to Supergirl, deleted scenes, not a lot, but honestly, Supergirl is an amazing entity, an amazing character, and one that deserves a lot more love than sometimes that character gets. And it's actresses like Melissa Benoist that really brought it to the forefront and really gave that character a really great voice that I think we all definitely should appreciate. I've never wanted to live in more of an old school mansion in my entire life, man. Downton Abbey, the motion picture limited edition steelbook 4K Blu-ray digital for $24.99. Oh man, this is such a good movie. It is really fantastic, man. And here's the weird thing about it. So I watched the movie, really dug it. My girlfriend has watched the series and never watched the movie. I've never seen a single episode of the series. And my mother, I remember us going to the movie theater watching West Side Story, right? And one of the previews before that movie was for the new Downton Abbey film. And my mother was like, this looks really good. I really want to watch that. And I'm thinking like, oh, well, when we get you Netflix, you gotta watch the series and the movie because they're so good. And she's like, really? I said, yeah, Olivia swears by it. I swear by the movie. Oh, man, it is really that good. Seriously, I love this. I'm not always a fan of period piece films or series. I mean, my girlfriend is. She loves The Midwives, whatever that show is on Netflix. She loves that. She loves Outlander, thinks that's really great and everything, but I don't get into much of them as other people do. But man, this movie, I really dug it, and I'm like, man, if the series is even half as good as the movie is, I gotta watch this, man. I really do. I gotta dive into it. It's on Netflix. I gotta give it a chance. But this was such a really fantastic flick, and I'm kind of jonesing for the new movie. I really am. Maybe go see it with my mother, of all things. Going with my mother to see a Downton Abbey movie. That, I thought I'd never fucking say. But I'm kind of interested, man. I really am. This is so good, dude. This really is. And the exclusive Steelbook love, it definitely deserves it. It looks amazing. It really does, man. And absolutely deserves it in a big bad way. It really does. And great features, deleted scenes, feature commentary, featurettes. Not bad. Welcome to a new chapter of Steelbook love. Oh, indeed, man. Absolutely well deserved. And you know, nowadays, with so much content out there, you know, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, everything on cable, there is so much content and so much TV series to watch. Some things get drowned out more than others, right? But somehow Downton Abbey was able to break out of that, because if the story is intriguing, if the characters are fascinating and entertaining, then people are willing to go for the ride. And this was one that people were definitely willing to go with. And honestly, I'm willing to take the ride too. I definitely am, man. I think it's about time. What do you guys think? Definitely jonesing for more Downton Abbey love. That is a great looking steelbook. The great looking indeed. Not half bad, and not half bad for the beast this week. Pretty good, all things considered. Not too shabby. Let's head out. Well, Best Buy kind of delivered the goods a little bit. I can't say they were big, sprawling, amazing physical media love this week, but compared to last week when they had Zippity Doodah, yeah, they definitely were much better this week. Indeed, they were. I mean, we had some Steelbook exclusive love. We had some of the new releases. Yes, they didn't have all of the new release goodness. They could have done a wee bit better on that. But again, considering that physical media love sometimes is not always guaranteed, and considering that Best Buy is not always the most consistent of the bunch, I'll take what I can get in a big bad way. I definitely will, and I hope you will as well. Not bad, all things considered, for physical media goodness, especially this week when there was so much to check out and so much experience. This ended up being quite plentiful indeed. Not half bad. I'll definitely dig it. Oh, I sure will, and I hope you will as well. Any Best Buy love is definitely good Best Buy love, and well, they did their due diligence just a wee bit. I could have taken more, but beggars can't be choosers, especially in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know that you do, but still so much worth it to check out this week. And it was definitely a well-worthy trip into physical media goodness. So how about we head home and finish the video? Alright, everybody, that'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD out and about video this week. And oh baby, it was pretty damn sweet. Oh, it was, man. Don't call it a comeback, motherfucker, because it was so goddamn amazing this week. So good, all the plentiful physical media love, baby. From most of the stores definitely did their due diligence on all that physical media goodness, and you definitely have to appreciate it. Oh, you absolutely do, man. Exclusives, a lot of release love, indie goodness. Oh, yeah. It was pretty damn good. It absolutely was. Definitely enjoyed it. Almost something for everybody out there. Wonder what you guys picked up. You definitely got to let me know. Now, you'll notice something this week, that I did the video without wearing my mask. And it's the first time that I haven't done this in a really long time. Now, here's the reason why. The cases in New York State are going down drastically. It's improved immensely. And I do not make a decision about my health and well-being without talking to my mother and my girlfriend first. And so I talked to both of them and asked them what their thoughts were and what did they think about maybe me trying this out again without my mask. And they were okay with it. They were cautiously optimistic. Things are getting better. So am I. And so I took the gamble, and that's what I'm going to do. Look, I still remain cautious to this day. I will keep my mask at least in my pocket if I do need it. I'm not around a lot of people when I'm doing the video. I kind of wait till people sort of get away a little bit, and I can sort of be on my own and away from people as much as humanly possible. So I still try to be cautious. I still try to be safe when possible. I bring sanitizer just in case, and I'm just trying to do my best to still be healthy and safe. I know what getting coronavirus is like. I got the damn thing. I know, okay? It's not a pleasant ride. So even though someone like me is vaccinated 3 times over, I still want to be cautious about everything. But things are improving enough where I feel like I can at least get back to a slight bit of normalcy. And with the approval of my mother and my girlfriend, I felt it was the right time to do that. So that's what I did. Good, bad, indifferent. I wanted to give it a try. It was kind of weird to not have my mask on, man. But hopefully things are on the upswing and improving in a big bad way. So I figured if there was any week to do it, might as well do it with the Matrix, right? Might as well, man. So gonna give it a go, see how it's gonna pan out. But I am optimistic. I really am, man. So you obviously notice that, but what about the physical media love that I got? Oh, I don't think you noticed that one, guys. And this is a good one, baby. Oh, indeed it is. It's very good, because this is one I've been looking for quite a bit. Out of print love, and I got it for a pretty goddamn good price. And that is none other than Something Waits in the Dark. Oh, well, see, if you don't know that title, you might know this one. Screamers, baby. Oh, yes. It's either Screamers, Something Waits in the Dark, or there's even a third title, Island of the Fishmen. 3 different titles, but all the same movie. Indeed it is, man. If it finds you, pray all it does is kill you. Oh, so good, man. So this release is from Scorpion Releasing, and I have wanted this for a little while. So let me sort of tell you my recent journey with this thing, okay? So I've been looking for this off and on for a while now. And on eBay, there was this seller that was selling his copy, used copy of Screamers. He was selling it for $120. I'm not even fucking with you guys. Literally $120 he was selling this bad boy for. And so I took interest in it, but I was never going to pay $120 for this release. There was no fucking way I was going to do it. So I get, like, a day or two later, I get an offer from this guy on eBay who is willing to sell it to me at a reduced price of $90. Okay? $90 fucking dollars. And I'm like, wow, $30 off. That's a bargain. I'm like, $90, what? And so I declined it. Okay. Then a day or two later, he comes back with another reduced price of $80. Wow, another $10 off. This guy's really generous. So here I am, literally looking at the price and thinking to myself, I can't pay $80 for this, man. I can't do it. There's certain things that might be worth paying that, but this is not one of them. As much as I want it, I'm not paying the price. And so I left him a message and I said, look, if you're willing to sell this for $40 plus shipping and handling fees, I get it. I understand it. I will pay that price. He comes back to me, sends me a message back saying it's too low. He can't do it. I said, okay, I'm out, right? I said, look, as much as I want the release, I'm not paying $80 for it. High as I'll go is $40 plus a little extra change. Okay, fine. So I give up on it. Well, lo and behold, on one of the movie groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, somebody was selling their copy of Screamers, Something Waits in the Dark. And I messaged them. I said, hey, can you have some extra pictures there to look at the condition of it? And it's in great condition. It looked awesome. And the disc is in minty condition. And so I asked, what are you selling it for? He's selling it for $40 all in. And I'm like, okay, I will have at it, man. And so I eventually paid exactly what I wanted to for this title, which is $40. If the guy on eBay would have just been a little bit more nicer and a little less greedy, maybe he could have sold this thing. $120 originally that he wants for this thing. I mean, again, I really love the movie. It's cheesy, and I definitely want it for the collection, but I'm not paying $120. I'm not paying $90. I'm not paying $80. I'll just pay $40 for it. Not half bad, man. And it's kind of interesting because there are 2 different versions of this movie. The first is just a regular, straight up horror adaptation that is called Island of the Fishmen that actually has a release right now from Full Moon Features. And it's a little bit more dragged out, a little bit more boring. And then Roger Corman took the picture and he re-edited it and added some new attack sequences and some stuff at the beginning and changed it to screamers. This is the more popular version. This is the one that most people know about, and honestly, the better version, all things considered. I do really enjoy this flick. I think it's fun. The creature effects are a little cheesy and cheapo, but I appreciate it. I really do, man. And it's one that I've wanted in the collection for a really long while. And paying $40, all things considered, for an out-of-print release is pretty damn solid. Not bad after all. Some cool interviews and features. And one that is definitely worth the price. Not $120 worth, but $40. I'll definitely take it. And look what's back. The black bag of mystery. Ooh. Only one title, but it might be worth it. A little Van Damme love? Don't mind if I do, because the March pickups have started. And I think we're off to a pretty goddamn good start, dare I say, because this one is one of the best Van Damme films. You damn right it is. Ah, so good. And there is so much more to come, man. But you guys will definitely not get to find out exactly what I got until my March pickups end up dropping at some point. I've got a lot to watch, guys. So it's going to take me a little bit of time, but when it does, you definitely will not regret it. It'll be some great boutique labels, new release love, oddities, and everything in between. You know how I roll, guys. It'll be very good and well worth the wait, so definitely stay tuned on that. But I think it was pretty goddamn good this week. I mean, a lot to show off in the stores, and a little bit of out-of-print love, and boutique label Van Damme goodness. It was definitely a week that was well worth it. And before I let you guys go, I gotta talk about this. Now, this is a very interesting perspective from a filmmaker that I absolutely respect. Do I agree with him? Or is he one of those old boomers that just need to let it go? From Variety, Francis Ford Coppola, even good studio films like Dune and No Time to Die feel similar. Let's dive in, shall we? Francis Ford Coppola went viral in 2019 after he was quoted calling Marvel movies despicable, while supporting Martin Scorsese's critical beliefs about comic book films hurting the film industry. Coppola later clarified that he wasn't talking about Marvel movies specifically, saying it's despicable how the film industry now values commerce over art. Speaking at a GQ magazine event, Coppola again lamented over the state of Hollywood, studio films, and Marvel's monotony. There used to be studio films, Coppola said. Now there are Marvel pictures. And what is a Marvel picture? A Marvel picture is one prototype movie that is made over and over and over and over and over again to look different. Even studio films that Coppola considers good are somewhat similar. The director maintained the talented people. You could take Dune, made by Denis Villeneuve, an extremely talented, gifted artist, and you could take No Time to Die, directed by Cary Fukunaga, extremely gifted, talented, beautiful artist, and you could take both these films and you and I could go and pull the same sequence out of both of them and put them together. The same sequence where the cars will all crash into each other. Okay, I suppose. Coppola added, they all have that stuff in it, and they almost have to have it if they're going to justify their budget, and that's the good films and the talented filmmakers. In his original comments from 2019, Coppola took aim at the lack of risk that exists in Hollywood film productions these days. Marty Scorsese says that the Marvel picture is not cinema. He's right, because we expect to learn something from cinema. We expect to gain some enlightenment, some knowledge, some inspiration. Arguably, I don't know that anyone gets anything out of seeing the same movie over and over again, which is the Marvel movie, the thing that has no risk for it. Coppola concluded, I've said before, making a film without risk is like making a baby without sex. Part of it is risk, and that's what makes it so interesting. That's why we learn so much when it's made. Interesting comparison. Ain't gonna lie, man. Oh, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, the old guard of filmmaking, they always have an opinion or two, don't they? They definitely do, man. Especially Francis Ford Coppola. Oh, boy. Yeah, he definitely does. Oh, man. Look, I respect Francis Ford Coppola. He is one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. He truly is. I love this guy's work. I mean, obviously, you look at the Godfather films, but The Conversation is amazing. Apocalypse Now. I really loved what he did. Even in the 90s, making a movie called The Rainmaker with Matt Damon. I thought that was really fucking phenomenal. Of course, you know, the Dracula film he made, amazing. Of course, he hasn't really made a film since 2011 when he made Twixt. Which, by the way, talk about a downfall for a director. That movie is garbage, man. So, he's not even impervious to bad shit because he's done it himself, man. But it's interesting because is he right, though, about movies nowadays and they're all similar and there's no difference to them and it's all monotony and it's the same thing being churned out over and over and over and over again? And I don't know if I 100% agree with him. I get where he's coming from because back in the day, this is the guy that made The Godfather, okay? This is the guy that made Apocalypse Now. You cannot make that shit nowadays. You just cannot. The way that those films were made back in the day, the type of artistic freedom that those directors had, you just don't have that anymore. There's no way that's ever coming back. You can't make Apocalypse Now the way that that guy made it. There's just no way. No studio in the world is ever going to finance that type of operation. Never again, man. But then again, that was the amazing thing about that movie, and that's what was part of what made that movie classic and amazing, was the fact that he went through all that trouble and issues and came out with a gem of a movie. But that doesn't mean that just because you're not making audacious films like that doesn't mean that there isn't good variety or great movies out there to behold. When he says that you could take a car sequence from No Time to Die and a sequence from Dune and switch them out and it's the same thing, I highly disagree with that. I really do, man. I mean, there are two different films, there are two different ways within two different genres, and honestly, you're comparing a science fiction flick to Dune to an action movie like Bond. It just doesn't really work to me, man. I mean, even the Marvel stuff, we can argue that some of the Marvel movies feel like they've been made over and over again, but honestly, I even kind of bounce back from that a bit, because if you look at Ant-Man, Ant-Man is different than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is different than Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is different than Captain America. Captain America is different than Iron Man. And these stories and these characters change depending on the movie that you're making. Yes, you can have certain similar sequences in it, and yes, the good guy saved the day, but there's a lot of differences among them. I think the problem is a lot of these filmmakers, older filmmakers, sort of feel like with the technology and the way the world is and the way that storytelling opportunities are, that maybe there isn't enough creativity out there the way that there used to be. The fact that you really had to struggle to make a movie back in the day. The fact that you had not as many options as far as your tools in the toolbox, per se. And that making a movie was much more of a monumental task than it was back in the day. You look at something like Jaws with Steven Spielberg. I mean, Steven Spielberg was so fucking frustrated with the goddamn shark that couldn't goddamn work to save its life. And he wanted to show off more of the shark than he possibly was able to. And that ended up actually working to his benefit. The struggles actually paid off. Nowadays, you would just use CGI, and whatever you wanted to do, you could pull it off. And I think the fact that these filmmakers, unfortunately, they're seeing it from a different perspective than we are. Yes, maybe you can call them boomers. You wouldn't be wrong exactly, but I think they see it as the idea that when you made a movie, you really had to be incredibly creative to do it. You had to think outside the box. You had to come up with amazing sequences, and you had to really be clever on all the filmmaking aspects. Nowadays, Anybody with a laptop and a good VFX program can make a movie nowadays. And the idea that it all feels similar, it all feels one note, it doesn't feel unique to the artistic experience that they had back in the day, and they kind of feel like in some way that might be cheating, that might be wrong, that might not be right, and maybe those movies won't end up being as memorable as their movies from back in the day. But then again, the argument could be made that when these filmmakers, the Francis Ford Coppola's, George Lucas's, Martin Scorsese's, when they were making movies early on in their career, there was older style filmmakers from way back in the day that was probably looking at these young filmmakers and saying, oh my God, they have so much more to play with, and oh my God, how long these movies are, and look at these sequences, they're just over the top and crazy and ridiculous. And those older filmmakers were probably chastising them. The difference is that we live in the internet world, and literally everything that you say and everything that you do is now flashed on some sort of publication where everybody gets to comment on it. And that wasn't the case back in the day. And so I understand where Francis Ford Coppola is coming from. I get it, okay? But I think that there's a lot of movies nowadays that are being made that are just as unique and just as interesting as the ones back in the day. Maybe not all of them, maybe fewer than it used to be, but there are still some amazing films out there worth diving into, worth giving a chance to, and I think over time will be memorable to the overall cinematic historical experience. I do think they are. Unfortunately, everything has been made to one degree or another, right? Everything honestly has, okay? And I'm not gonna lie here. To a certain extent, everything has been done once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, hell, fucking 10 times. And so it's hard to make something memorable now that you haven't seen from previous years or previous movies. It's hard to put new spins on it to really make it an experience that you're going to remember forever. Francis Ford Coppola was a pioneer. He was an amazing artist, still is to this day. Martin Scorsese is, and Ron Howard, and Steven Spielberg, and a lot of these old school directors are. But at a certain point, I think you also have to sit back and say, you know what, I made my mark on cinema. My movies will be around for a really long time. There's no denying that. Now it's up to the new generation to figure it out. I've made my stamp, I've put in my 2 cents, and now it's up to other people to do their due diligence as well. Unfortunately, it's hard to let go of the past. It's hard to embrace the future sometimes, especially if you're someone who was around at a time when cinematic experiences and artistic freedom was such a huge thing. And nowadays, with studios having so much say, and the budgets ballooning to such exponential levels that some of these directors might not have the type of freedom that they did back in the day. But if you want to make a movie nowadays, that's what you have to deal with. That's what you have to do. And so you have to work in the confines of what the business and the industry is. And it changes all the time. The business, the way it is now, might not be the same way 20 years from now. And the way the business is now was not the same way it was 20 years before that. And so everything changes over time and with perspective. And so to talk about these movies now as far as them being the same and similar and not as memorable, I think at the end of the day, time is what's going to be the ultimate factor in here. 10, 20, 30 years from now, we'll either look back at these movies nowadays and say that they were memorable and they're going to go in the Hall of Fame of cinematic glory, or they're just kind of forgotten and they were the flavor of the month, but that only lasted for so long. It's perspective, it's time that will ultimately be the judge here. How it all pans out, I'm not quite sure, but should Francis Ford Coppola be the judge and jury? Well, that's an opinion that some will agree on and some won't. He's deserved a right to be opinionated. He definitely has deserved that right. But just because you criticize it doesn't necessarily mean that you're right about it. Just saying. I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think about this. You definitely gotta let me know. It's interesting because I respect his opinion. I really do. He's an amazing filmmaker, phenomenal, talented, legendary filmmaker. But sometimes you gotta step aside and see the perspective of what the world is now, and you can't always rely on the past to inform the future. Sometimes you can, but other times you just gotta let the chips fall where they may and see if it all pans out the way you hope it will. If it doesn't, well, hey, at least you got the older shit to enjoy. The newer shit, well, it may not be up to par as what it used to be, but you can still get a good gem or two out of some of those great movies out there. You just gotta sort through the pile a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Definitely let me know what you think about that. I'm definitely interested to find out. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos that I do. Movie reviews with my friends, live streams, Blu-ray pickup videos, movie hunting, and much, much more. If you are a lover of movies and physical media, hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank my really great subscribers out there. You guys are amazing. Watching the videos, commenting, the support that you give me, I really do appreciate it. You guys are amazing, and I could never do this without you guys. You really are patient, and you give me a lot of great love, and I really, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate that in a big, bad way. Thank you so much. Hopefully, you like what I do and you subscribe. Also, keep up to date with everything I'm doing with Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. FilmFan108, keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if you are interested in sending the channel any movie-related goodness, physical media, care packages, posters, you name it, doesn't matter. If you are interested in sending the channel any love, the P.O. Box is in the description below. It is not expected, but it is definitely appreciated, and you guys have always said, hey, we are interested to send the channel some stuff. Where can we do it? Well, the P.O. Box is the place to go. Definitely send something if you are interested. I will always show it off. I've gotten some amazing things from you guys. Absolutely phenomenal, and I can't wait to see where the P.O. Box adventures take me next. But that is for another time. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you back next time for a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about experience. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.